Hey, what's up, Beaker? It's all dark there, man. What's going on?
Well, is this thing on?
Yeah, it's on. Do you remember how to do this? You haven't recorded with me in quite some time.
No, I don't remember the camera settings, and also it just
You
said busy. I
You
don't
just
know
turned your
why.
camera off. Why'd you do that?
I didn't. That's another thing.
It was working fine this whole time,
Had
and
some
then you
cable
touch it.
issue. Now it says error. See? Fucking technical difficulties.
You know what?
Soon as you move.
You have until
Soon
the
as you
end of
go
this.
somewhere, travel.
You have until the end of this intro to get it right.
Nitro is the glory, but e-buggy pays the bills. Welcome to the No Name RC podcast. Get ready for some serious bench racing. But be warned, we speak our minds, express our thoughts, and sometimes things can get a little rowdy.
Hate, and he just was influenced by the hate coming from the left, the hate coming from the right.
And let's get back to more club racing and less of this money-grabbing book racing.
It's hard not to be arrogant when you're always right. You know?
See what I mean? That's exactly why people call you arrogant, Max.
You may not agree with everything we say, but it's definitely worth a listen.
And our pick, can you stop whatever you're doing?
Join your host, Lefty the Great, with co-hosts and guests as they get together to chat RC.
Hey, after that race that I watched this morning, I have to talk about it.
There we go. $100 right here, $100 throw. Oh no! I like this.
Yes, indeed. Nitro is the glory, but E-Buggy pays the bills. Welcome to episode number 175 of the No Name RC podcast. We have everybody's favorite guest joining us for the first time. Well, co-host, sorry. I don't know if you're a guest or a co-host now. You come on her so rarely. I don't know.
I'm a guest.
Yeah, but how do you make the intro then if you're a guest?
I don't know. Maybe I'm a co-host then.
Yeah, so this is the first time we've actually recorded in months. I would say since last year.
Since I was there.
No, we did
recorded
a
like
live.
this?
Yeah, like recording.
Oh, yeah.
You know, where I can erase all the bad stuff that you say. When you do it live, I have no choice but to let it fly. So, welcome everybody to episode 175 of the No Name RC podcast. I'm your host, Keenan White, aka Lefty the Great. To my virtual left is, you know, the man with many nicknames who only wants one nickname, but that will never happen because he has many different personalities. We have JQ, aka Beaker, and soon, RCGP is coming up, and he's going to turn into the sheriff, and that's Rupert Pumpernickels. But welcome back to the show.
Different type of sheriff, though.
Yes,
Not
we're going to get into that.
on-track
We're going to
sheriff.
get into that because, you know, there was a lot of Facebook ho-hum about you last week. We're going to talk about that. But welcome back, JQ. It's good to have you in studio. I know we was trying to do this live after DNC, but to be honest, there's two days that we had, like Monday and Tuesday, we were so tired. We had to do stuff. It just never happened. And then Wednesday, we kind of just got caught up being tourists and never got to record. And then you had to get home, you know, shovel snow and all that stuff. So finally, I think you're somewhat recovered. I've been recovered, and it's good. We're going to talk about DNC. We're going to talk about what happened after our last recording. It's a lot to talk about.
So my recovery, I get home. First of all, I have to shovel all the snow you saw on Instagram, which took a while. Then my van is actually stuck. So when the weather is like it is here, it gets above zero. So snow starts melting, then it freezes. So then it turns to ice. And then that happens a few times. So there's like layers of ice, and then new snow falls onto that, right? So my car had sank into the ice. So all four tires were sort of like 5 centimeters deep in ice. So the tires would just spin. It wouldn't go anywhere. So tried everything for probably an hour, and then had to call someone to come and pull me
Pull
out.
you out. Well,
Yeah.
we both had extreme weather because then I get home and then it's like the flood all over again. I have not seen so much rain fall where it actually filled up my front yard. You know, you've been to my house. So that yard was full. I was able to drive my jet boat, and I was so worried. We had put all like the couches and everything up on like other couches, like on chairs, so everything was above. We fully thought that the water was going to come in the house. Luckily, it didn't.
You have experience of that.
But that was, yes. Okay, so that was not actually my fault or the fault of rain. That was old fittings on the bathroom that caused that biblical flood in the house when you was here. You know, I was super embarrassed about that. But that was out of my hands. But yeah, it's the sun's out. It just rained a little bit just now, but yeah, it's typical weather here in the DR, but that was a lot of rain. Before I go on any further, I'd like to say thank you and shout out to the NNRC Squad around the world. We can't do it without you guys. Thank you for all the love that you show us, sharing. I just noticed that we went over 2,000 subs on YouTube, finally. So like 2003, keep hitting that sub button.
Yeah, and 400 on Discord.
Yes, 400 on Discord. I haven't been active in the Discord lately. Kind of been, taking a little break. You know, DNC was like a lot of RC, dude. I enjoyed it, but just enjoying some time with the family here.
That trip was so tiring. Actually,
I know. We're gonna talk about it.
The whole DR followed immediately by
yes,
DNC, and then the DNC trip. When I came home, I was so exhausted. I slept, so I arrived home, dig out my van. I went to bed at 8 p.m. I got up like sometime in the afternoon the next day.
Really?
I think around noon, actually. And then motocross MXGP was on at 1 p.m. So I started watching that. And then I slept through most of that. I slept like 3 hours then in the afternoon. Then I went to bed again and woke up the next morning. So I basically I was sleeping there for I don't know how many hours that is.
Oh, dude.
Then even one night after that, I slept 13 hours again.
Yeah, I could see that.
So,
I went sleep probably late as usual, like 11-ish. But I usually wake up 6:30, 6 o'clock, 6:30, 7 at my latest. Dude, I woke up 10 o'clock 3 days in a row. And then took naps throughout the I was tired. It wore me out. Well, we'll talk about that and a little bit more. And also, let me finish my thanks here. Thank you to the patrons of the podcast. We can't do it without you guys. If you wish to be a patron of the podcast, you get early release. You'll get early release of this podcast. Actually got 3 early releases this week. Thank you for all that support. The link for that is in the written description of this podcast. And yeah, we did do 3 podcasts this week. So we did a recap with Tony, Max, and myself of DNC. Then I did a recap of the Desert Classic, which was a big 10-scale race right after DNC that happened this past weekend with Riley Filbert, which was really good. I just dropped that today that I'm recording this. Also, yesterday I recorded with my buddies Paco Tapate from Mexico, Sergio Suarez from Peru, and Andres Segrada from Costa Rica in the first ever No Name RC Podcast Espanol podcast. So we met with those guys. We introduced those guys, talked a little bit about their experience in RC and how it is in their areas. And then we did a little DNC talk in Spanish. So that's good. Something I've wanted to do for a while, break out to the Latin America, give them something to look forward to. Big market there, and we had a lot of fun in South America. We need to do that again one day as well. Take Invisible Speed and NNRC on the road again. Shout out to the awesome companies that support us. We can't do it without you guys. A big shout out to High Tech, Invisible Speed, and TZO Tires for helping me get to DNC. I greatly appreciate that. Check out Invisible Speed. Joseph, let us know what's going on with the online course of Invisible Speed.
Actually, quite a lot now. So, why keep it secret? So, we are working on a Spanish language course with Robert Battier. So, he is going to translate the course into Spanish and film videos in Spanish, and then we edit edit them together from what we already have. So replace me with Robert, basically.
Good.
And we are hoping to actually announce that with the first opening video starting to sell the course next week.
Okay.
And there's going to be kind of an exciting contest there. So the idea is that throughout the spring and the summer, all those videos will get done in Spanish, but we'll also do a run through. So 4 weeks throughout this year, the first one being in April, there will be sort of intensive live videos in Spanish then for Spanish speakers. The idea is that there's 1 week each quarter that we do that. But the exciting contest will be that we are going to pick a winner from all the people who buy the Spanish course and also all people who buy the English online course. And that winner can join myself, Robert, and David Ronnefalk before the pre-Worlds in Spain. For testing at a track in Spain. Yeah, I believe 2 days testing, and then we go to the Worlds warm-up, and then we stay also 1 day after. So it's obviously, to benefit from this contest, you need to be actually going to the warm-up, or maybe if you win, you choose to go to the warm-up.
Maybe it's a Spanish person. Let's get that clear.
Maybe,
You're not paying for them to come to this.
That's what I'm saying. So you have to get there, but what you get is our attention and support before, during, and after that event. So it's a unique opportunity for someone, and it's the way to win is actually that we pick the winners, and we pick the winners based on who they are, what their goals are, why they think they should get to win this contest. So
they should write like an essay, I think.
Yeah, resume in like Degani does to the
write
Worlds.
like an essay, and best essay wins. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like school, I did that once. I won that once. All right, good stuff about Invisible Speed. Got a lot of love for Invisible Speed at DNC. People bought a lot of books.
Degani was very surprised at all the love.
Yeah, now he wants his own chapter, the memoirs of Greg Degani.
Yeah, he wants me to write a different book, which is all about RC stories. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a long book. Long book. All right. Let's continue. Hold on. So thank you to all these awesome companies. Remember, everybody, links and coupon codes are in the written description of this podcast, so you can save some money. There's some affiliate links as well. We got a little slice of that. But thank you to Invisible Speed, TZO Tires, High Tech RC, TNR Fuels, Beach RC, Techno RC, Lugs Racing Tires, Mayako, JQSM, G-Spec RC Tuning, Papa Willie's Traction Tonic, Racecraft USA, Clinic RC, JTP RC, RCGP, House of RC. Shout out to my boys, RC Kevin. Shout out to the Viking, the Doctor, and Robert Batty, and all these guys. That I think we're gonna try and get Robert on the NNRC Espanol, and do some Q&A like what you do. So we'll see. All right, Joseph. So I know we're gonna talk about what happened, our trip and all that type of stuff, and what happened with us. But people got excited and saw that you was coming on the podcast. So you have some questions that you have to answer. So we're gonna go right into the Beach RC bench racing Q&A, and people just excited to see you. They read this actual segment is real popular with Max as well. So lots of people like to ask the questions. So they want to get bestowed with the Oracle's knowledge.
BeachRC.com, the racers' one-stop online hobby shop. Choose from all the popular brands and variety in stock with super fast shipping and great customer service. BeachRC.com still has the local hobby shop feel with all the benefits of the internet. BeachRC.com is the exclusive distributor for Ultimate Racing, JQ Racing, Pro Circuit Racing Tires, Nitro Lux Fuels, and Assault RC Performance products. So fill up your cart and check out at BeachRC.com today.
Thank you to Beach RC and Lucas, Brent, and the boys for their support. It was great to see Brent at DNC. Congratulations to him and SWAX on their TQ and second place with Joe Bornhorst. I saw Lucas dropped a video of them rebuilding the Beach RC track for the Palmetto Classic, which happens this weekend, I think. So good luck to everybody going there. Remember, everybody, we have an affiliate link for Beach RC. If you could go there, it helps us out, gives us a little slice, and we greatly appreciate it. All right, so we have a lot of questions, Joseph. Obviously, we have a lot of questions about Mayako and DNC. So I'm going to filter through some of these because we're going to answer this in our chat. But I guess we might as well open it right up, right off the bat. Benjamin James, is Ryan Mayfield the greatest 8-scale off-road racer of all time, or does he need to win the Worlds this year to cement that? Joseph?
I think Ryan Mayfield is one of the greatest RC racers of all time, but he is not the greatest 1/8 scale specifically, I would say. Why do I say that? Because I think if he went to France right now, I don't think he would be as competitive as he is in America, because the racing is very, very different. And he doesn't really do those races. The last time he didn't do well. I'm talking about races in Europe on actual European style tracks.
Yeah.
The only time the Americans actually come to Europe is when the races are on American style tracks in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
And that's very different to going to a track where it's all about corner speed, car setup. And it's not about jumps, timing, hairpins. You know,
right.
it's so different. So I haven't really seen that from him. Like, even if we look at the Worlds, actually, yeah, you know, the Worlds in Italy would be the closest to that. But even that was such a ridiculous track. Like, it was so extreme. It was, I mean, I wouldn't call that your typical European track. It was concrete.
Like a concrete surface, yeah.
Yeah, it was concrete and just weird for everyone. So what I would really enjoy is to see that Americans come over to your super Euro race in France or Spain or Italy or something like that.
Me too. I'd like to see that.
I would enjoy seeing that.
But I do think that Ryan Mayfield is the best 8-scale driver at the moment.
Well, no, I disagree. Because, like I said, like, if he came to Europe, then he is on Ongaro's soil, you know? So
yeah, but
would you then say, like, okay, so Ongaro has been winning everything, basically, for a few years in Europe, right? Mayfield has been winning everything in America. Then throw in the mix Ronnefalk, who has been really strong in America and Europe, and all the other Europeans. So what then? Like, he is winning a lot, yes, but he's winning the American races.
Well, that's all he's been going to. That's all that's been happening.
I know. So I think that it's easy to say that, but it's not easy if you think a bit further.
Well, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
All the races, and who can actually win at DNC, also win at Montpellier, also win Buggyland, like wherever they go. That's
right.
really who.
Well, we'll see that. You know? We'll see that soon, because hopefully he'll be at Redovon, and we don't know how that's going to be, but it's probably going to be Euro style track. It's going to be huge. And it's gonna. I think it's gonna be all about corner speed and whatnot. So we got a chance to see.
Spanish tracks these days, they have a lot of jumps, but I would still class them more as European tracks, like Radovan. Yeah, I mean, it depends a bit on the layout that they do, but in the past, I would say definitely. Definitely, it would be more Euro.
Right now, I have to say, he's at the top echelon. Like, if there's a number one driver, like the top 25 has him at number one, and I can't argue with that. You know, right now, and
yeah, I mean, he has the American scene covered.
Now, to say, will he be good on as the greatest 8-scale driver ever? That's hard to say, because there's lots of 8-scale drivers out there that have more accomplishments, and they don't have Worlds. You know what I mean? So, and then there's drivers out there with more accomplishments, and they have a Worlds. So, like, I think he's just at a period of time where we're seeing him run extremely good. You know, Ty Tessman had years like this. Cavallari had years like this. Tebow has had years like this. So
I don't
right
know.
now,
Did Cavallari have years like this in 8 scale? I
not
would say
really.
yes, definitely. Tessman had years like this.
Right. But not
Tebow had years like this when Tebow was on
right.
Kyosho. Like 1 year he won every race pretty
You know,
much.
Cavallari, not so much, but he has had some spurts. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Cavallari's won all the races, but I can't remember a time where it was like,
He's run a string of
Cavallari's
races.
just dominating in 8 scale right now.
But I think a lot of people also, I've watched what I think the difference with Mayfield's program now is his ability to change his driving style within a race. And when he makes mistakes, he's able to accommodate for that and not go crazy. If you tell him to save fuel, he'll save fuel. I saw that at the Nationals. And I just think he's making better decisions than people. He gets out to that lead. He doesn't worry about qualifying too much. Maybe back in the day, he was worried about being TQ. Now I was like, I don't care as long as I'm in the vein and I'm not way in the back. And he's figured out a way to get out front and not look back. And the only person that's been able to catch him when he's out front like that, well, sorry, he did it once, was Dakota Fenn at Southern Nationals when he caught Mayfield making mistakes. Mayfield made uncharacteristic mistakes. And then Fenn was just faster at the AMS, I believe it was.
Mayfield is just really comfortable and confident right now. He doesn't even need to be the fastest. He's just fast enough, doesn't make mistakes. He drives like at a pace where he can do it consistently, and that pace is fast enough to win.
And he can dial it up when he has to. That's the good thing about it.
Like he could go faster if he needs to, but he doesn't need to. Like he's that good right now.
No. I agree with you. And we'll talk more about this, but good question. I don't think he's the best ever. I think there's some others in there that can do with that. We have a Worlds coming up. We could possibly have we have Ty Tessman, Runner Falk, and Ongaro. So we have 3 chances to have the second 2-time champion here. I might have missed somebody, but I don't think anybody's in the running anymore.
I would say that
not Robert.
I would say that Mayfield is stronger in 8 scale buggy right now than he's ever been before.
Yes.
That I would say.
And
right now he is definitely one of the very best. I wouldn't say that he is the all-time best. If we want to talk about the all-time best, I think we have to wait some more years, because these guys have been so evenly matched, and also they haven't really raced enough together. There's just like 1 race, 2 races. Like it's just, you can't really judge that well when they don't race together. And the 1 race they race is like DNC.
Yeah, ideally,
it's not right to judge.
What would be great would be if a lot of the Americans went over for the warm-up race. That would be awesome. And then we could say, all right, so we have that. Then we would have the World. So that'd be 3 races, so we can judge things on. But unfortunately, I have a feeling that a lot of them, they have such a busy schedule. We have the Nats coming up this weekend, I believe.
I wish
next weekend.
Wish it was a thing where Americans would go over to do the Euro warm-up.
That would be great.
That's a race that it's on the Euros track. So it's
right.
a European style track most of the time. It goes to different countries. That's a race that they are allowed to do. They can do it. All the best European drivers go there. So it would kind of be a natural race to do. So then we can have this. It's almost like a Worlds, but it's a Euros warm-up race. You know?
And it's unfortunate because the Europeans make the effort to come over for DNC and Silver State. And those racers have earned that right. I'm not going to say they haven't, but it will be good to see. We don't have that. Well, you know what? We kind of don't have that race anymore. Neo was that race, but it was
that
was an American style.
US
yes, I know what you mean.
But
at least we got them over there.
Yeah, but I want to see these guys race in Europe on a European track.
Yeah.
More than like once every 6 years when the Worlds are here.
That would be good. All right. Excuse me. Chris Boyder. This was a big topic. I didn't watch online, but I saw somebody started this rumor, and it was flying all throughout YouTube and all this stuff during the race. Chris Boyder, congratulations on the success at DNC. Let's address the elephant in the room. Was an HB rear clip used on the e-buggy prototype at DNC?
I think that I know who started this rumor, and if I remember correctly, because I just saw the name, it's a guy who has like covered in tattoos, face tattoos, all that stuff. You know?
Yeah,
You know that?
he definitely does not
Is
like
it that
you.
guy?
Yeah,
Is it
yeah.
that
I don't
guy?
think he likes you.
Yeah.
Derek Tarrant or something like that.
I
His name
think
is.
the ink has bled into his brain or
Oh,
something,
God.
because it was so funny. So he says that, oh, they're running HB, this and that. Then someone posted a picture of the Mayako, and no, he posted a picture of the Mayako. Then people were like, okay, there are no HB parts on there. Like,
He
what the
was
hell are you
saying that the
talking about?
aluminum hubs were HB parts, and
Oh
then
my God!
I
So
think Chris, yeah, and then of course that led, and then Chris says that he thinks Cole said something in his race report, but I don't know if this is at us.
yeah, Cole said that like other brands are using. So apparently S-Works actually are using HB arms, but again, I didn't go to look, so I don't know. That's just what people were saying. But for Mayako, we used the HB battery holder, the plastic battery holder on the
for the
e-buggy.
e-buggy,
Yeah,
right?
and then the front long chassis brace, that orange brace, because the Mayako sample broke. So they manufactured it wrong. So it broke, like first time you ran the car, it basically broke. So we ordered a bunch of them. So we used the HB front brace and the HB battery holders.
Okay, so
On
there
the
you go,
e-buggy.
full HB car.
That's what we used. And on the Nitro, David used HB springs, and which actually were harder to drive because the car was more sort of bouncy and aggressive, but faster if you could control it. So he ran them. I preferred the Mayako ones. So that's how HB our cars were, I guess.
Yeah, he was adamant on this being a complete.
Yeah, I heard the same thing, that
HB
we were basically running the HB rear end, but I don't know how that started because there were no HB parts on the rear end.
No idea.
So.
I know how it started because it's the internet. All right. Kyle Neary, he asks, what does Ryan Mayfield know that we all don't know? There's one thing to be consistent, but consistently winning everything. He knows something that we do not. Deal with the devil. I don't know, man. We just talked about that. Joe Zaire, he has a good question for you. I think we should probably address this on when we talk about our truck. But he wants to know, did JQ expect such a quick success with the car? And if this success continues, is JQ ready to be a mainstream figure? I listened to Extra Lap the other day, and they were like pumped about the Mayako. Like they couldn't believe it. So do you want to address that in our conversation?
I can answer it now. So okay. I think that everything went better than expected. So of course we had our issues. Like the first day, everything was breaking and falling off and figuring stuff out. And then like 3 days later, the car was really good. And then there was a club race at the end of that week, and David lapped everyone in 15 minutes, which was quite ridiculous. Also, during the practice, he was like so much faster than everyone who showed up. It was crazy. And then for DNC itself, it started off a bit shaky because the track was so different. But we made some setup changes, and then he was more comfortable. But like I could tell that it was nowhere near as good as it was for the practice track or that club race, just because the layout was so different. But then he pulled off the win in e-buggy, and Nitro, he had a really good pace after his disaster of beginning, those first 5 minutes. But he still sort of unlapped himself a bit and caught back up to the pack and was even in the battle for the podium, third place, ended up fifth. When I look at the race, I would still say it was better than expected. To win e-buggy and fifth in Nitro with a good pace is, I think, really good for him having driven the car for the first time 1 month prior. And also before that, the last time he drove 8 scale was in October.
Mm-hmm.
The last time he raced was in October. So taking all of that into account, I think it was better than expected. And like my goals or my like personal expectations or goals was just to not have a disaster, because I'm so used to failure basically on all kinds of fucking levels, both things that are in my control and things that aren't, that I just decided like, you know what, whatever happens, let's try and just avoid a fucking massive failure. So of course, like that was my mindset. So like I'll take anything at this point. That was how I was thinking.
Mm-hmm.
But how we were working was basically to go and win it. Does that make sense? Like the attitude going in was like, we're gonna win Nitro and e-buggy. That was the attitude. But if I'm honest with myself, like what I believed in my heart, in my mind, how I was approaching it was like, just fucking make the main and finish, and I'll be okay. I get that. That was where I was.
All right, how about becoming a mainstream figure? I think you was a mainstream figure all this time. You have been. I think the real values even yet to be exposed yet, and that's with your knowledge and the invisible speed and all that stuff. So for me,
but there's, I know what they mean. Mm-hmm. Because like there was
like this positive mainstream person, I guess. That's the word I would say.
Just last week there was this guy on YouTube who made a comment like, why would you listen to someone who doesn't win? Like on one of my videos or something. And that's basically the attitude people have. Like people think that if you are successful in the way that you win races, then you must know something. Like whoever wins the race must understand how to tune an engine the best. Whoever wins, he must understand setup. Whoever wins, he must be the best at basically everything. Like that's how people think. So if you don't win, then obviously you can't tune an engine. Obviously you can't set up a car. Obviously you don't know what's happening, right? That's how ignorance. People think. So
that's ignorant.
No, but that's how people think, and that's how people perceive things. So if I designed the exact same car and David wasn't driving it and I was in the C main or B main in e-buggy, whatever, then people would have one view of the car, right?
Yes.
Now David wins e-buggy and he is very fast in nitro buggy, finishes 5th. He TQs around. Now it's like, oh my God, the Mayako is so amazing. You know, it's the same fucking car, right? People are not able to objectively look at something, absorb information, research, come up with an informed opinion, right? They take a sound bite of a result and that's how they determine if something is good or not. It's not like that. Like you can have something that's not really very good, but a driver has an amazing day, or in particular conditions, a bad car is good enough for a good driver to do well, right? You know, you could have that situation, or you could have a situation where a car is really good and a driver does really well, and you know the sort of positive opinion of it is actually correct. You know, but most people, they don't really think very deeply about anything. So it's just like, who's racing it? What are the results? Oh, that's good. He must know what he's doing. When, to be honest, it doesn't work that way. Like, I think that David could have done really well 2 years ago with a Black Edition. You know, people's perception of that car would have been very different to now. I know that this car is better than the Black Edition, but I also know that David is good enough to where he could have driven that car really well at DNC, for example. So,
yeah, I get that, and I'll be honest with you. Your car, like, I watched your mains, and I told you this afterwards, and I told you this privately. I said, dude, your car looked the best out there out of everybody's car. And I watched your car, and I watched where you drove it, and you drove around the bumps. Sometimes you went in the bumps, you know what I mean? But you was able to put your car wherever you wanted it, and I thought your car looked the best out there. And yeah, you may not win, but let's not get like, look, as much as I tease you about not being a good driver, you're still a good driver. You're definitely the best one-armed beer drinking driver I've ever met. I don't think anybody can beat you in that. But
Maybe.
Your car looked good, and I just think, like, you know, your results are where they are. Your knowledge isn't based on winning. Your knowledge is based on what you've learned and applied and built your own car. And people just can't get over that. And people are gonna say I'm swinging off your nuts, but
I don't think there are any sort of engineers or coaches in sports who are as good as the people who they coach or can race or perform whatever they need to perform with what they have designed as well as someone else. Like, that doesn't exist, you know. So like, I replied to that guy on YouTube. So what you're saying is that no professional athlete can have a coach. Eli Tomac or Lewis Hamilton, they just do everything on their own. Like, no engineer can design anything for them because those engineers can't drive the cars or ride the bikes, so they don't know anything. So, you know, it's just non-thinking way of existing.
Well,
but
they
this
gotta
is
find a way to hate. So that's all it
the
comes
back
down to.
to the question, or I think it was a question or a comment, whatever. This is basically what they mean, like the mainstream thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, these people will now have a different view or a opinion of what I'm doing because it's somehow like, now it's credible.
I get you.
Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
But
I get what you mean.
also, I think that what I noticed on this trip especially was that the YouTube videos have helped that a lot, because every single day I went to the track, at least one person walked up to me and thanked me for the videos or the book. Mostly the videos, though. Like, oh, I watched
I saw that
videos,
firsthand.
the tuning video, or this or that, and a couple even said, which was the coolest thing actually, was that I think 2 or 3 people said that my videos got them into Nitro.
Good.
Yeah, so that was the best.
Yeah, good stuff. We got a lot. Actually, you did get a lot of love, and so did the podcast too. But definitely your videos have helped. We'll talk about that because it was a whole different vibe at this DNC. Real quick, couple more questions, then we'll move on because we've been on this a little bit too long. Jeff Werner, what's up, Coach? Happy belated birthday. Any updates you can give us on how the young lady that JQ Threads is sending to school, the girl in Nigeria, and also how are you doing how is she doing with her dream of designing clothes?
Well, she's done with this school now, so it was 2 years, and now basically she has to start hustling. So there's this website that she started, her own page where she can start selling her creations. Africrea, it's called africrea.com. So Africa and create, I think.
Okay.
So yeah, so basically now she's doing that.
I saw you had some of that stuff on Instagram too.
Yeah, I haven't really been very active with JQ Threads.
You've been kind of busy.
Really been any time, yeah. So, but that's where that project is. So,
how about the kids in Mozambique?
Yeah, that story was basically the roof of the school flew off in a storm. So we put the roof back on the school. Well, actually, one of the buildings, couldn't afford all 3, and then have just been sending, on average, I would say 10 kids to school. And the idea was that they make these wristbands that they sell to tourists. So instead of them having to walk around selling those, I just order like 100 each month, basically. So I send, it's just $140 each month. Send it down there. It basically funds like 10 to 12 children's school, and there's money left over for the family too. So that was also a project that was supposed to be a bit more than just that, but at least it's that for now. So maybe later on can do some more things there.
Awesome. All right, next question up is from these are a lot of like questions about, I think we're going to address a lot of this stuff, but I just want to ask them. Beaker, what did you learn from Steve Chamberlain? What did you learn from David about race setup and that you didn't already know or do before?
Okay,
give me one thing that you learned from Runafault that you never done before.
That I've never done before?
Yeah, that you learned from him. And that
for setup, I don't think there was anything like that. But I think maybe the most interesting thing and teachable thing for people is that everyone always says that the best drivers, they can win with anything. Like, yeah, that's true if they are up against no competition, right? If they go to some local club race with Lefty and his buddy racing, then yeah, they can win with basically anything, right? But if they are racing equally skilled and talented drivers, they can't win with just anything. They need to have really good equipment, and the setup needs to be really good, and everything needs to be perfect. And that's really the biggest difference between 99.9% of people out there and the elite. So it even became a joke preparing for DNC. How many times David rebuilt his car, and how much time he spent working on his car versus driving his car, right? Mm-hmm. Every time, for example, Nick Hernandez, of course, Nick, who's doing the TZO tires, he started it. Like he's like you. He comes up with nicknames, and if there's some kind of running joke, most likely he has been involved at some stage of it. But it was like he rocks up to the track every time David is rebuilding something, like whole car torn apart or doing diffs or something. Like the amount of time and precision that goes into making sure everything is right on the car is something that I think you can't appreciate until you experience that. I experienced the exact same thing when I was spending some time with Ryan Cavaleria a few years ago. So the level of attention to detail and the level of leaving no stone unturned and preparing, even in practice, to the best of their abilities, it's just next level. Right. Like if I think that I prepare a lot and I make everything good, I don't even do it to that level,
I think I'll give an example. I'll give an example.
Wait. So, okay. And also the feedback for the car on like things that just about every single person wouldn't comment on, like this is fine. He would comment on that shit. Like, this thing, we need to fix this. And it's like, if you built the car, you would have no clue. You wouldn't even notice that shit, Lefty. But he notices that stuff, right? So attention to detail and willing to really perfect the car. That is something that stood out.
Yeah, and wanting to win. I think they want to win. I think they want to win. Like if you talk to them, like fifth isn't good enough for him. Like,
no. He was really mad after the race. But this is something that's very misunderstood by most people.
Yeah, I agree with that too. I misunderstood it at some point. I just wanted to give an example of, so Greg was telling me, I was like, so Greg, what do you think about, David Runafault and all this type of stuff? And he said the same thing. He dots all his I's and crosses all his T's. And he said, I watched him sort titanium screws in the third seat of the van while we drove to Supercross or something like that, and just like he sorted all the screws into different sizes and all that type of stuff while you guys drove to Supercross. He goes, I wouldn't even do that while I was, at home doing nothing. So just little things like that. And so, and they just want to win at any chances. And I think that's something that you have to get used to as well. Like, you can win. Like, you know what I mean? All right, a couple more questions. Phil Hernandez, since the Mayako Phil Fernandez, since the Mayako e-buggy won first place at DNC, does this mean the buggy is designed far better as an electric buggy than a nitro buggy?
I mean, it's the same design, just different weight distribution. And he was fast in nitro buggy too. But nitro buggy is much harder to win because it's a long race. There's more things that can go wrong. It's different.
Okay. Connie Swenson, any semi-secret stuff or prototypes you spotted at DNC?
No, maybe only the S-Works. Maybe I should have gone to actually look at it and verify if they actually were running HB stuff on it. I mean, if it's true, I understand why, because they have the wide pivot and a shortish arm and the sort of Mugen style positive offset hub. And then they have an option of a narrow pivot, but I think maybe the arm is then the same because then they have a lot of offset then.
Interesting.
Negative offset. So maybe they wanted the option of a long arm and very neutral offset like a JQ or HB or Serpent. So maybe that is what they were running. So maybe something new from S-Works, in other words.
Maybe something new. Mike Sorchi, JQ's reaction to Lutz putting it out front in e-buggy. Woo, your sphincter. My sphincter was pulsating.
Yeah, Lutz was actually I think the fastest guy there after David when they were practicing. So I wasn't really surprised to see Lutz do well, but maybe in e-buggy to do that well, I was a bit surprised, especially like late in the race. Like it was looking like he was going to win.
Yeah. Then David made those mistakes like right in front of us, and I just felt my sphincter went like, oh shit. Like, you know what I mean?
So I wasn't surprised to see him run up front, but in e-buggy, I was a bit surprised to basically have it look like he was going to win the whole thing.
And they gave us some good, exciting racing. They were very close to each other. And they didn't touch. A great weekend for Lutz, in my opinion. He had a break. He broke something in nitro buggy, but I think a good weekend for him. What else do we have here? So we have a couple of questions. Donnie B, what will be the tire being run at RCGP? We're going to talk about RCGP here in a bit.
Actually, when is this being released?
Friday.
I think they are releasing it this week.
Okay. Yeah, we know what it is, but we have to kind of respect RCGP's release schedule. So they're releasing everything at a certain time. So that asked us not if we know not to go ahead
I texted it. Maybe we can answer this question.
Maybe we'll know by the end of this podcast. Mike Fuller, congratulations, Team Fuller. I said this on the last two podcasts. I think the time of the Iceman Mason Fuller is here. He has arrived. He's kicking down doors. He wants to know how many dollars in bets did you pay out, JQ, and how much did you bring in? I think you lost all your bets.
Well, to be honest, I couldn't figure out what exactly our bets were anymore. And then with the Westergaard, we were sort of redoing a bet, but then we never actually did it.
Oh, God.
Like we never shook hands and did the bet. Like we were there like, well, how much should it be? Like, should we do it? And then it sort of, we never did it. Neither of us really committed to it, which was good because I broke in Nitro. Like I had him covered, let's be honest. But
who was that?
The Cable and Westergaard.
Drake. Oh, Westergaard.
Well, with Drake, that would have been fun actually, because I would have been right in there with Fi and Drake for the battle in Nitro. The cable that goes from the receiver to the battery, which was new for the race, broke somewhere inside. So, I mean, I'm at the point where I'm thinking, like, for big races, should you just plug the battery direct into the receiver? Just eliminate one other thing that could break. How often does that cable break? Come on. Ridiculous.
I know. I didn't know what happened till you stopped and you was just like,
yeah, what? that was really frustrating. That my car was good, driving was good. I thought it was fun. I would have liked.
Your car looked really good. Your car looked really good, and we wanted to see the infamous. You and Drake had a good battle in e-buggy.
Yeah, we got a good battle in e-buggy. Then I made right towards the end, I made one mistake. God damn it, and he got me. But Nitro would have been another story. So I was really annoyed at that.
You and your bad battery.
Not battery, it's the cable.
Yeah, because you plugged it right into the receiver the next day and it worked. Jamie Docking, how many beers before Lefty kicks JQ out of the studio? Well, JQ's not here live, so I can't kick him out. Last time he was here, though, he was on great form. Jay Zellner, what are the teams for RCGP? They'll release them slowly but shortly. We're going to talk about your dropping of RCGP or self-inflicted
So
drop.
they released Mayako and Nemo Racing so far.
Yes, which is good to see. Nemo Racing coming on.
What I can say is that RCGP is actually full.
Yeah, that's good.
No more team spots available.
Good.
Sold out.
And you have your self-inflicted drop, mission accomplished by Lefty. We'll talk about that later. We have a couple of questions in the question. We have 2 more questions and that's it. But this question is actually kind of long. So this is a private question. I don't even know how to pronounce the guy's name. He says, JQ is always saying that he will train when he's going to race and be great again. How many hours a week, a month, year of training does he think RC racers, pros like him and other pros need to do to be the best? Are they training both in the gym or other things and driving? He also wants to know how happy you was over your e-buggy, over JQ, over the e-buggy win at DNC. Let's tackle those 2 questions, and he has 3 more, and we're going to answer these simple because we're going to get this done in an hour.
Yeah, well, the e-buggy one first. So yes, really happy, but Nitro is more important. Okay. Let's be honest.
Did David surprise JQ with something in the car setup to make the car fast? I think we kind of covered that.
No, not really. But we also haven't really found his real sort of setup yet. So I know there's a lot more potential to come. And then we didn't answer his first question.
He actually has 2 more questions.
Yeah, but we didn't answer that like training thing. So I don't think anyone does anything else. I think there's some more performance to be gained if that really top guys also practiced better, because the top guys are so good that, like I said, more of the time is spent on preparing and maximizing the performance of the equipment, and then they drive sort of a bit less. I think that if it was even more professional, then they could drive a bit more and also focus on certain things, like not just drive 5-minute times or test stuff and look at the lap times, but really sort of improve even at that level with their driving and precision and consistency. I think there would be more room to improve. And also in other sports, bigger sports that involve hand-eye coordination and reactions, they actually train the eyes and the mind, the brain, and hand-eye coordination and all that stuff. So there are all kinds of different exercises you can do to train your
I don't think we're exploring all those options as no. So
I think that those kind of things could work in RC. I think it's something that if you had someone professional in that field help someone, it would be something that it's like a subconscious improvement, you know.
I don't think we have anybody really exploring those techniques in RC.
You're at the top of your game, and then suddenly you're just a bit better, and that's what they really need at the best drivers. Like they need to be just a bit better, you know. So there are those things. No one's doing it now. There's just the industry's too small. The money's not there for that kind of stuff.
We need an Alden Baker in RC.
Yeah, and for myself, one of the reasons that I'm not racing the RCGP is because I know myself that I am quite far from my personal best or peak. Like the last 2 years, I've driven the least I have in the last decade, probably, you know, because of COVID first, and then the whole Mayako project and Invisible Speed and all of those things. So my goal of driving more and racing more and still having sort of a last good result it still exists, but it has just been delayed, so now that the year has started and all of that work is done, now I want to start driving more, which is also good because I need to develop the car and make sure that David and other Mayako drivers have the best car so they can win.
There we go. We're gonna answer these next two questions, and then that's it, because we spent an hour doing this, and we had a lot of questions, but we're gonna talk a lot about this later. This comes from Mikolos. Yeah, I'm not even gonna try. Sabados. That's what it looks like, but it isn't. How do the top guys cope with running commentary when they hear the driver behind is catching them, etc.? So I guess he goes, and they feel they are going as fast as they can, and just general commentary. I guess he's asking like how it feels when you hear like, oh, this person's catching and all this type of stuff. I think it helps these guys because then they know when they have to step up their game or something like that. Or if they're really disciplined, they listen to their pit guy.
I think that confident drivers, it doesn't affect them really in any way. But I think when you lack confidence, then it can be an issue because, like, if you aren't that confident, if you hear that someone's catching you or you see on the track visually that someone's catching you, it can affect you negatively, because you start to worry about them catching you, instead of focusing on just driving and hitting the lines. That's part of it.
People need the RD needs to call the race and make it exciting.
Yeah, of course. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. It just affects drivers differently depending on their mental state. RC is a very mental sport, I would say, very much so. I think that actually the majority of races are not won or lost based on skill or car setup. It's based on mental strength.
Okay, I could deal with that. I get what you mean. All right, one more question. It is a mental thing, and I think the drivers that can mentally, some drivers may use it to help. Some drivers may not even phase them, and they listen to their pit man, which is the beauty of having a speaker system as well. All right, so we have one Discord question. Remember, guys, if you haven't joined our Discord, join the fastest growing RC Discord in RC. We have over 400 members, or have 400 members, and there's lots of discussion going on. So get in there and let's get to meet each other and get to know each other better. Question for Beakerson, another one of your nicknames. Are the roll centers on the Mayako symmetrical? If I match link locations front and rear, up and down, is the roll axis ever level? Opinions on how this is on other cars? You always say the HP car is always lower in the rear. Most curious about this for the Mugen, though. Thanks, Science Moon. Yeah, that question, I'm leaving that all in your hands right there.
I'm not going to tell you whether, if you want to know, then you can measure it. That's actually like one thing about the Mayako is we're not going to be revealing any angles and shit, because I remember like when HP won the Worlds with that 17.5 caster block and everyone started making 17.5 caster blocks, that was the last straw. That's what broke the camel's back. That's when I decided, fuck this, like, this is ridiculous. It's like if enough time goes by and pillow balls are winning, we have to make pillow balls. Then C hubs start winning. We need to make C hubs now. Someone makes a wide pivot and wins a race. Now we need wide pivot. Like 9 out of 10 brands, there's no actual thought or knowledge or philosophy that goes into designing a car. It's just like, hey, whatever's winning, these other guys have that, and our drivers want it. So we'll just do that, So, yep, no angles or information going to be posted or shared.
That was a good try, though. That was a good try.
If you want to know, then measure it.
But he's more curious about the Mugen, though.
Yeah,
he wants to know
I
about
haven't
the Mugen.
checked the Mugen. I'm not interested.
Beaker isn't letting any of his speed secrets, his speed secrets out, people. Trust me, I've heard people ask him this angle, and is this that? like, I'm not telling you.
I go to a certain level, but after that, you need to figure it out for yourself.
All right. Well, that was a lot of questions. People were excited to have you back on, JQ. It's once in a blue moon that we get you on. Normally, our question segments go an hour anyway because Max goes into super science mode. Thank you for your time. Thank you, everybody, for the questions. I know I missed some, but we also have to talk about what we've been up to. If you guys can, use the affiliate link at BeachRC. It greatly helps us. We got a little slice of that. Thank you to Brent, BeachRC, Lucas, and all those guys for their support. I'll see them here at RCGP here soon. And yeah, good luck to everybody at the Palmetto Classic and go into the Nationals here in a week's time. So yeah, let's get on to Joseph and I chatting a little bit about what happened after our last recording. Our travels to California, which was fun. I had a blast. And thank you. Yeah, check out Beach RC. Thank you to Invisible Speed, TZO Tires, and Lugs Tires for bringing you this next segment, which is just JQ and I having a chit-chat about the last month and a half, 2 months. Yeah, I think it's almost been a month and a half, 2 months since she was on this podcast last, JQ. So yeah, check out Invisible Speed. The online course is available, as well as the book. Check out TZO Tires. They haven't got their website up. I need to get, if you want to know more about their tires, I have to put the audio up from episode number 172, where we had Nick Hernandez on there as a good friend of Joseph and I, and we're happy to see what they're doing. And of course, Lugs Racing Tires. They're also a big sponsor of this podcast. All right, JQ. So where do we start? I think we kind of have to start where we kind of left off. I mean, we did do a podcast at DNC, but that really was just a quick one. And it was fun. Actually, it was a lot of fun. But yeah, the last time we was together and we recorded, we had a good show. You was on form. We came up with this, but you won't let me forget. And now people, you got people starting to do that to me. So thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
You was here in the DR with me. Yeah. So let's start there. We have a great recording session. Little did I know that JQ was silently trying to kill me in this recording session, because we figured out he was. Yeah, we figured out this was at that time when we was recording that episode, he was at the peak time to be contagious for COVID. So yeah, JQ comes on vacation, everybody, and gets COVID-19. So he gets to stay in the DR longer, and I don't see him for like 10 days. He's holed up in some hotel room with his girlfriend who didn't catch it either. I didn't get it. She didn't get it, but he got full-blown COVID.
It must be fake. Not
no,
real.
But you was definitely sick. Like, I was expecting the phone call like, hey, we got to take JQ to the hospital. And I was going to be like, well, you better catch a taxi because I'm not coming to pick you up. But yeah, JQ, we saw you. You disappeared after that, I think. We did that great show and we had all these plans and you built 4 shocks and moved my desk and sorted my lights. And that's all you managed to accomplish on your trip down there. We're going to come down and we're going to redo the studio and I'm going to build you a car and then we're going to do all the rebranding and blah, blah, blah. No.
COVID was tough.
4 shocks, moved my desk, messed up my fucking office, made it a mess. Cables everywhere now because of you. Mind you, it does look better. That's all you accomplished in 2.5 weeks, sir. Then you got sick. Like, I was really worried about you. So anyway, fast forward a little bit. I'm taking his laundry to him and all that type of stuff and taking him food because, they don't want to go leave their rooms and all this type of stuff. His girlfriend said it correctly. You have good friends, but you are an asshole. So she's so right. She's so right. She's so right. She's so right.
She didn't say that. What an asshole.
But amazing how we were so close contact and she was in close contact and neither of us got it. And then I had to take you home. So that was a big thing. A trip that should have took us 6 hours and 7 hours at the most ended up taking us 12, 13 hours to do. So let's get this straight. JQ goes, all right, I'm going to, first of all, if JQ flies in Punta Cana, which is 6 hours away from where I live. By the way, I wouldn't add that, people. He would never come pick me up 6 hours away. If I flew into, hey, I'm coming to Finland, but I had to fly in 6 hours away, he'd be like, well, you better find a flight that gets you here to Helsinki. That's what he'd say to me. But anyway, this day that we decide to go on to Punta Cana happens to be the first day of a 4-day holiday here in Dominican Republic. And the roads are freaking crazy. Remember, we waited like an hour and a half to get through the last toll station of the highway that we went on. Traffic was like, it was crazy, man. That was the crazy trip, Don. What were your highlights? Oh, I know what you're going to talk about. Go ahead.
Yeah.
You have the microphone now.
This is how cheap Lefty is. Okay?
Oh, I'm cheap.
Yeah, you are.
We'll talk
So
about
here's
cheap in a
like
minute.
if he turned the camera right now, you would see about 700 action figures.
That's a lie. That's a lie.
Maybe 1,000.
That's definitely a lie.
No, it's not a lie. It's fucking packed
It's
with
not
action figures.
It's not. It's like maybe 200 at the most.
Yeah, which is really weird. You're an adult.
You have 10 guitars.
I know, and we
You
covered
have
this
guitars
already.
in America.
I know, and we have already covered this. When I play my guitar, it's normal. I'm an adult man playing a guitar. Perfectly normal. You being an adult playing with your action figures, not normal. Fucking
Adult
Tito
collecting.
alert.
I don't play with them. I just
Yes,
set
you
them
do.
up
You
and
have
put them-
arranged them like a diorama.
Yes,
It's messed up, Lefty.
like
and to
you
have
and your
that many-
bloody guitars.
So anyway, my point is you spend all that money and effort on your action figures, and you have basically 4 blown out tires on your car. So we stop at
No, you say
gas
your
station.
car sounds weird. Your car sounds weird.
Your car kind of sounds weird, like there's something going on. Also, apparently,
What do I say? This is how I
after the-
solved that problem. I just turned up the volume on the radio.
Yeah, that's what you did. You turned the volume up on the radio. And then I guess my girlfriend was sitting on that corner where it was the worst. So she could feel something was wrong. I didn't feel anything. So we stop, and then when we go back to the car from the gas station, so she checks like under the car. She sees like
No, I checked.
your left. Yeah, she told you to look. Your left rear tire was basically on the like worn through on the like the belt thing. You know,
It was a little bit of the belt show.
really a bit. Like it was the worst tire.
Okay,
I
so we
had ever
figured out
seen.
why that was
So okay,
happening.
so that was the noise. Okay, so you couldn't just turn the radio up anymore. So now, what would a normal person do? A normal person would maybe stop at a tire shop and get new tires. Like we need to switch these out. Well, you already had 4 different tires on your car, right?
Yeah, why not?
I guess that's normal over there. So what
Yes.
do? You stop on the side of the road at a shack with a bunch of old tires. It looks like it's a dump, but actually it's
Well, it
not
was a
just a dump of tires. There's a shack in the middle of it, and out pops the one-armed fucking Lefty.
No, he had both arms. He had just missing a hand.
Well, he could use both arms, but his left arm was missing a fucking hand. So Lefty's best friend. Lefty has a hand, he can't really use it. This guy, full operational arm, no hand. You complemented each other perfectly. So this is the guy now. So he starts digging through the pile of old tires to find an old tire replacement for Lefty. That's not quite as old and fucked up as the tire on his car currently. And yeah, so this operation took
Yeah, it took a
2
long time.
hours, maybe.
They were
2
trying
hours.
to remember. So okay, let's get this straight.
Yeah.
So I stopped.
I
right?
mean,
This is
what
a
do you
normal- listen,
expect? He was a
listen.
one-armed man in a shack. What the fuck did you expect, dude? Come on.
Listen, okay. So in my experience, which I have much of it, I was like, all right, I'm gonna put this old tire. I'm gonna get an old tire for $20. Put it on the car so I can take you to where you had to go, and I could get back home. Right? I know I need 4 new tires on my car. I know that. I need to do the adult thing and buy 4 new tires. Maybe 2 and 2.
The
Maybe I'll
adult
do
thing.
2 and 2.
Should I get this pointless G.I. Joe, or should I put new tires on my minivan, potentially saving my family's life? I will get
See,
this
you make
fucking
it sound
G.I.
so
Joe.
bad.
Yeah, but
You make
that's the
and by
truth.
the way, I have not bought any action figures in many months. By the way,
Really?
But anyway,
Really?
unlike you, who is going
You
crazy for
probably,
guitars.
instead of action figures, you probably bought some kind of Star Wars. What's that Falcon thing? Millennium Falcon. That's your new thing, right?
Oh, that's
it's got an
goals.
action figure technically.
That's goals, but I'm not going there. So action figures is on the back burner. We'll fall onto RC.
How about
right
tires
now.
next? Okay.
So no, let's
Life
talk about
goals. Get 4 new tires.
That's
on your
not.
car.
We haven't finished the tire story. So anyway, he picks out a tire which he thinks is great, and I noticed that this guy is a bike mechanic. I'm like, why does this bike mechanic guy have all these tires around her? So anyway, he's like, look, they're trying to, take the tire off with bike tools. I'm like, this isn't gonna work. They're bouncing on the tire. They're trying to break the seal. I'm like, look, take it down the road and just put the new tire.
Yeah.
Put
Why
the
don't
new
you
to me
take the
tire
to the actual tire shop where we could have gone?
Yeah, no shit. Yeah. So they come back, wrong size tire. And you just look at me like, what the fuck? And I'm just sitting there like, dude, this is normal. This is normal. Your girlfriend's getting pissed off. She's not feeling well, right? You're recovering from COVID. You're probably polluting me with your COVID germs at this very moment, complaining about me driving you down here and taking so long. So then he finally comes back with the new tire, and the guy raises his stump in the air like, woo, we fixed it. Like, you know what I mean? They get it all mounted on, and then the tire was probably in worse condition than it was the one that took off. Then we go to probably the most expensive McDonald's ever, and you bought me lunch and then complained about it. So we got you to Punta Cana, right? This guy doesn't book me a room. It's like 7 o'clock when we get there. We left at 9. Hey, this guy's like, well, did you book a room? I'm like, no, I'll just stay with you. You can't stay with me because we have COVID, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I get it, JQ.
How was you going to stay with that?
You don't want me to stay with you and your girlfriend. I'm not going to spend money on a hotel. I'm going home. All right, see you later. No. You want to talk about cheap? This guy right here, it cost me $20 in tolls to get down to this place.
Yeah, $20. You're the cheap one. I didn't.
He gave me fuel. I'm surprised about that. He gave me fuel. He put fuel in the car. Your boy goes, oh, see you later. 30 minutes later, after I'm, 30 minutes away and making good time from where he is. Oh, I forgot to give you money for tolls. Go fuck yourself. That's what I said, and said, I'm not coming back now. See you later. So that was the last time I saw JQ. I didn't know if he was going. I made it back home, by the way, in 5 hours. The roads were completely empty. I made it back home safely and securely. So to say all of that, it was good to have you done, but fuck, I was so happy when I finally dropped you off at that airport, and I was like, I'm rid of this guy now. No more stress. So dropped you off. You kind of had a hectic couple of days. Like, you had to get ready because you was traveling, because that put you behind schedule as well. Because you was traveling.
Now, because I was so many days late from extending the trip, that I had to basically come back, pack, prepare for America and go. So there was no time really to build a car and do all the preparation I was supposed to do. There was barely enough time just to get everything packed and the work things done, and then I had to leave.
So you flew. So after you got home, it took you a day or so to get home. I think you got home on a Saturday, late Saturday, and then it took
I can't remember how it was, but I think I had 2 days in Finland, maybe.
Really? That's a quick turnaround, dude.
Yeah.
And you're still coming, like you're kind of close to the microphone, so I can hear myself coming back through the audio phones. So you kind of, and let's get this right, you're still kind of like not fully recovered from COVID. I mean, you've been through the hard part of it. It's still just like a cold and all that stuff.
No, I am. So for me, it was pretty bad for 2 days, where, I mean, I would say high fever, never really measured it, but high fever and muscle pains, like clearly like, okay, yeah, I'm definitely sick. There's no question. But I knew I had COVID on the first day. That was bad because when I went to sleep, I could feel that when I would breathe, it felt like I was out of breath after I just breathed. Is that the word? So, and I had never ever felt that feeling before. Like I could feel something in my lungs, and I could feel that breathing was heavy, and I could feel how I was out of breath. So I could begin to imagine how horrible it is if you get it bad. Like, I would not want to end up in hospital because of COVID. Let's put it that way. Like, that was bad enough. Thank you. Okay, done that. I don't need to experience any worse.
Yeah.
And
So he
the
healed up.
weirdest thing was, like, even when I went to America, I still had a sort of foggy feeling mind. Like, normally I'm science mode. You talk to me, I have no idea. Maybe 5 minutes later, I'm like, did you say something? You know, like, now it was extreme. Like, driving the van in America for the first time was a major task. Like, full
Really?
concentration, trying to just drive. It was fucking scary. Like, I was actually
Wow.
scared driving. Yeah, it was so weird. Like, I've never really experienced something to that extent. I think it might be it might be similar to if you have a bad concussion. Like, you're a bit slow also after that. So it, like,
Interesting.
affected my brain. That's insane. And I
Well, I
actually
think it
Googled
affected it
it.
in a
Like,
good
am I
way because
imagining this or
no,
what?
because
Because I Googled it and it's actually a symptom, apparently. Like, it can actually affect your mind and you can feel cloudy. It said, like, for a while
maybe
after.
it
For me, it
affected your
lasted like a
brain.
month.
Yeah, maybe it affected your brain where you're somewhat normal now. Like,
I don't know.
Somewhat normal. But yeah, how did who picked you up at the airport? Like, I haven't really talked about your first few days in America. So you got there before
Degani won't
David.
pick anyone up. I mean, I took the bus to Degani's place.
Okay, so you had you had an shuttle
Yeah.
bus it. How long did that take? About 3 hours.
No, there's like an actual bus, not the shuttle, like a bus to a bus station close to where he lives. But it goes
Like a
like
real
direct.
bus.
Yeah. But
Real
it's an
gypsy.
airport bus. Like, it's a real thing.
All right, so you kind of stayed in Greg's camper the first couple of days. When did David get there?
Yeah, I think I was there a couple of nights, and then David arrived. We stayed at Degani's house one night, and then that's when we watched the Supercross. And then after that,
You went to Supercross, right?
yeah.
Was
we
this
went to
David's first
Supercross.
time going Supercross?
Yeah, first Supercross.
I know he was happy
After
about
that,
that.
Degani drove his trailer to the campground close to Paris, like 5 minutes up that hill there behind Paris track. And that's where we stayed for like the first 10 or 11 days. And
So
it was
how was
really good,
that?
actually. It was just me and David and going to the track almost every day. A couple of days were too windy, couldn't really drive, just rebuilt stuff then. It was good also because we figured some things out. Okay, we wanted to make a different rear shock tower. So we were at the track during the day, back at the trailer maybe 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, something like that. I designed the shock tower, sent it out to Dylan Hoffman. He is in Palm Springs. Like Hoffman Steel Fabrication, I think, or something. They have this company. And then he made the towers for me. And a couple of days later, I got up at 6, drove to pick them up, drove back. And then we were able to try them already. And then we actually made even a second revision of the tower. And he made them too. So we were able to really quickly develop the car right there, which was nice. So
yeah. Also, you've stayed with David before, so this isn't your first time living with him per se. You guys shared a place in Spain. How was it like entering this as working partners? This is the first time you guys kind of got together to work together, to test together. Was there a learning curve for you guys, or obviously there still is.
Well, I would say that I'm from Finland and he's from Sweden, so culturally very similar, very much the same, very honest, very direct. There's no like games, no playing games or
it's
that kind of
straightforward
stuff.
with you
Like,
guys.
yeah,
He'll
it's
say
not like
that, like, this is shit.
Americans or Southern Europeans. That it gets complicated with people like that. But for us, yeah, no issues. We knew what we wanted to get done, and we just went about getting it. And I would say that I was also sort of positively I shouldn't say surprised. There's a better word for it. Like, it was just positive to see that how serious and professional he is. So we be at the track all day. We come back and he pulls out his laptop and he starts checking emails, sending out emails, asking me about the release date of the car and pricing and this and that, because he's sending out information to customers in Sweden, because he's selling Mayako in Sweden. So he not only drives the car, races, he's also interested in developing the car, improving it so he can have the best performing car to win, and also selling the car, understanding how to promote it, market it, all that stuff. So that was really good to see. And also, just to mention the whole rebuilding the car thing, something happened which has never happened in Degani's trailer before. An actual table was set up inside the trailer to work on the car. So, one of those Walmart tables that everyone has. Greg was like, how did you fit that in there? So I had to send a picture, like it just fit. So yeah,
because he doesn't have the biggest camper. It's stretched with just 2 people in there.
Yeah, 2 people is pretty much the max.
Yeah.
But it, there again, you see, like it definitely wasn't a holiday,
Yeah.
There wasn't that much time to sort of just relax and just chill. No, it was work. There was a job to be done, and long days because of that. Get up in the morning, head to the track. Tiring day at the track, but then when you get back, there's more to do, like glue tires, rebuild the car, send out emails, work on other stuff, web shop stuff like this. Yeah, it was good. It was productive 2 weeks.
How did it feel to be back in America? It's been a while. Usually you would spend 5 to 6 months there. You haven't done that for a while. You rushed out of there the last time you was there. How did it feel? Because when I got back there, it was like nothing had changed.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've been there so much that it sort of it almost felt like I never left, even though I had been away for 2 years. In some ways it felt that way. In other ways it felt like, man, I haven't been here for a while.
Was it good to get to Supercross and take somebody new? Did you go? You didn't go all day, did you?
The first one we didn't. Second one we did.
So
yeah, it was nice.
Good. So I got out there about 2 weeks after you got there, I think. Do you want to talk about, how about, so you got back to Joey, you hadn't been to Joey's new track. So you get to Paris, you're there, you're practicing, you have David and yours by yourselves. Then I think like about a week with DNC to go that week came, like Zankatine came, Adrian came, Pierre came, Per, which is Ronald Fox photographer, if you guys saw him. Who's probably one of the best guys I've ever seen. He's a ninja. Like he just goes around and just like, boop. You don't even see like his angles. You just see him walking around and he'd be like, boop. He's so quiet. And he takes some of the best pictures, dude. Like I think the guy is super talented. They showed up. So it was me. Mike Hill was there. Unfortunately, didn't stay the whole time.
For a bit.
Yeah. I'm not even going to go into that. But unfortunately, so it was like 8 of us in this Airbnb out in Chino. It was nice. You had your own room. Zankatine. Yeah. So Joseph takes the bed, right? Mike Hill has a bed. My plan at this point was me and Mike Hill had a strategic plan. He's like, Lefty, I don't want to put up if you're snoring. There's a whole little cubbyhole of these L-shaped couches that would be perfect for you. That's going to be your spot. And then Per took it. And then I almost was like, all right, so my plan was to come into the building, challenge Per immediately for the space, that he stole from me because I already had rights to that. Like, this is the way of the bear. You know what I mean? I already, urinated on that. So that was mine. So I came up there, his all tucked away. I get put on this mattress, literally this thick. I asked you.
It was that thick after you lay on it.
It was that thick when I went on it. I said, Joseph, did you bring this mattress from Smoker's house? Because it looks like the same mattress that we had. You put Alex Zankatine on a bed, an air mattress that leaked knowingly. You did that knowingly. But it all worked out. It all worked out. I mean, I had a blast. You ended up going to stay. But what I did see about that, I remember when I walked into I think it was the next morning when I walked in there and everybody was awake. I saw the glimmer and glitter in your eyes when you saw me. It's like, oh, my savior and hero is her, Lefty. Finally, somebody that I can verbally and mentally abuse and they can take it. He's here. Now I can release all my frustrations and all my insecurities. My savior, Lefty, is here. I saw it in your eyes when I came down the steps that morning.
Okay, if you think so.
Yeah, but what I did see was just like RC everywhere. I said, dude, we came into this house. There were boxes of tires. There were boxes of clothes. There were 20,000 chassis laying over. There was parts of cars there. It was like someone took a RC bomb and just blew it off in this house. Everywhere you look, there was something RC. It was nuts. It's crazy. I did enjoy it though. I did enjoy the Airbnb experience. When you moved to when you finally moved to the trailer, to the camper with Gandhi for the race, and then I went out and got Alex a proper air mattress so I can then take the bed, and Michael took your bed. That's when it became easy. It was great. It was great to get out of a bed. But, you know, I didn't mind sleeping on the filmy little small mattress full of wet. I think my snoring kept people up. I was very worried.
That's
about
why
that.
you couldn't move into my room when I left.
I was very
You would have been too
that.
central in the house.
Yeah, so, my snoring's pretty bad. So
yeah, I mean, when you were sleeping upstairs, if you went in the garage, you could hear you.
I know. I was so upset about that. I was so upset about that. It's nothing I can do about it though. I tried my best. I wedged myself. I tried to sleep like this. I tried different positions. It just didn't work.
For me, I've noticed that like having to deal with people stresses me out. Like me having to deal with myself is like enough. So then one other person is still okay. But when it's two or above, then I can't handle it. So
yeah, that was out of you.
I could be in there like for a while, but when everyone arrived, it was perfect to just bail and stay in the trailer with Dagani for the race.
I loved it. The more people, the merrier for me. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, you're the opposite.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
If I can be alone, that's perfect.
For me, it was like being back in like a school trip or something. You know, I come down there and everybody's there and you get to talk. And then, you know, you're so tired when you come home at night, but you end up sitting off and talking with people. I had a blast. And then I got to see like the Runafolk machine go. That's what I want to call it. So it was like Pierre, boom, boom, gets up, loads up. Everything is done. You know what I mean? Adrian's there. They load up everything. David comes down, puts on his clothes, has his breakfast, and he's in the car, and then we're off. Like, I call that the Runafolk machine. It ain't no stopping that. You know what I mean? They know what they're going to do. Pierre's been doing this for, 20 years probably? You know what I mean? He would load up every morning, and we would be out of there and going. The only thing about the house was it was 45 minutes away. It was a commute there back and forth. I thoroughly enjoyed being in the house with everybody. It was fun. You know what I mean? When you left, it was cool because I had my own bed, but one character left out of the house. So it kind of, went a different way. But the first time I've ever really done this was share a whole house with people. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. I had late nights anyway. You know what I mean? The only thing was the commute made for late nights. And by the time you got home, you was just tired. But for a fun factor, yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. That part of it.
Okay, so you know what?
What?
After this story, we have to deal with a major subject that just came up.
Okay, cool. So
RCGP is making a release today when we are recording, so we have to talk about it now.
Okay,
put out some fires.
We'll do that. Let's finish up talking about DNC and all that stuff. So going into DNC, okay, then like all the team came and we was at Revelation. I didn't agree with you picking Revelation as our test spot. I understand why, because it was just so close to the house and logistically wise, it would have been so hard to go to Santa Barbara with everybody. But I am upset that we didn't go to Santa Barbara because it's such a beautiful track and I wanted to get out there. You met some interesting characters at Revelations as well, I believe. Prior to me coming out there, I heard about the guy who wore a
some Canadian, like a guy walking around the pits. Well, first of all, let's just address the whole situation at Revelation. So you don't know if you are entering Skid Row or an RC track. Like there's homeless dudes just like there's a guy living in the driver's stand.
I heard that.
There's another guy living in a
but I heard
van,
that.
another guy living in a trailer, and one guy I don't know where the fuck he lives. But it's like only in America could you have homeless RC racers.
And they're racers. That's the thing about it.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it.
I mean, they fucking have RC cars and drones and shit, and they're homeless. What the fuck?
Why they live at Revelation?
Remember? I will never forget. I will never ever forget this. Jackass. No, maybe it was pre-Jackass, like what was it? CKY? What was the one before Jackass? There was that video.
No idea.
I can't remember. Anyway, in that video, they're somewhere on the street. They're doing some stunt. I think actually they had an RC car with a dead skunk on it or something, driving it around. Like roadkill on an RC car. Some fucking homeless dude rocks up. I kid you not. He's like, oh, I used to be professional with those. He used to be like a pro RC driver, he says. It was so funny. That's like, yeah, the future for professional RC racers. Homeless on the streets.
Revelation is packed daily.
Yeah, it is packed, but it's also a strange vibe with sort of Skid Row there. But anyway, what were you saying? We had a point to this?
Yeah, I missed the guy in the parachute pants.
Yeah, the parachute. So
yeah,
I didn't think too much of it to see a guy walking around with a parachute because, hey, we're on Skid Row. Anything can happen. But then he's walking around looking for the Finnish guy. Hey, are you from Finland? Are you the guy from Finland? And then I think he asked Mike Hill, and Mike Hill was like, no, that guy. So then he walks up to me, hey, are you the guy from Finland? I'm like, yeah. Okay. I was told to speak with you. I'm like, okay.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So then he starts talking, hey, follow me. So I follow him around the back of the hobby shop. Okay, things are getting a bit sketchy. What's this guy going to do? He has these massive billboards. He's supporting the Canadian truckers who are protesting for freedom. Like they are against tyranny. The tyranny of being a Canadian. Jesus Christ. So anyway, this guy completely fucking off his rocker. Crazy. This is something unique about America.
This is something you attract all the time.
Yes. I'm very intrigued by this. Like people who can clearly function in society. The guy had a pickup truck with a dirt bike in the back with a massive trailer. Okay. He drove from Canada, apparently, was driving down to wherever the fuck he was going, because apparently there was going to be some supporting truckers protest somewhere in California. So this dude has money. He can function in society. He can own a truck and a dirt bike and drive to a different country.
He had a camper, right?
Live in a camper. He can paint these signs and somehow find his way to Revelation Raceway. He can do all of these things, but he is totally insane. I tried having a conversation with him. Like, I think I was having a conversation with him for 1.5 hours or something.
Yeah, I heard you was going for a long time.
It was amazing.
I heard he even tried to pay you for talking to him.
He tried to also pay me. I mean,
for listening to him.
So you can't follow. Like at the moment you think that you have actually like cottoned onto the conversation and we are actually now having a legit conversation, he jumps to something completely different about some Canadian who lost his arm to cancer and did a marathon or something. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? We were just talking about the oil fields somewhere, and then we were talking about some foreign policy thing, and now this Canadian who lost his arm to cancer, and then your brother who's a lawyer. Like, how does all of this fit together? Like, it was amazing. Absolutely
it took up 1.5 hours of your time, so you must have been stimulating conversation.
Yeah, but why do I only meet these extreme people in America? I mean,
this guy... You attract weirdos.
This guy was from Canada, but I met him in America. Like, all the weirdos just go to
What
America.
was he doing at Revelation? Was he into RC? I don't understand.
Yeah, he had an RC car, so he found Revelation.
Dude, I
don't know. Like, I think, like, homeless weirdos, they have some kind of app they go on. Like, what's the RC track to be if you're homeless and weird? Oh, Revelation. Yeah, let's go.
But dude, I went in his hobby shop. He's jam packed with stuff, and he said his business has never been better. And
Yeah,
shit.
COVID.
Yeah,
COVID money.
But I wanted to reiterate something. I was actually writing a blog about this, about the ambience and the feeling going into DNC. When I was sitting at Revelation, you can feel it. Like, you can feel the excitement. You can feel the excitement. It's not every day that Revelation has David Ronnefalk, Zankatine, Adrian Bertine.
Oh yeah, we had a race there too. I forgot about that.
Yeah, it's not every day. And then everybody was talking about the big race, and they can't wait for this. And the excitement was in the air for DNC. The tension was in the air. You could cut it with a knife, like, especially the first day. Like, the anticipation for this race was super high. I have a whole blog that I didn't finish. I probably need to finish it one day because I was writing about this, and I just couldn't get it all done before it needed to be done. But for me, that's what I'm sitting off in Revelation, and that's the feeling I'm getting. Like, people are here to test. Then you would see, like, Barufalo was her, and this person was her, and this person was her. Like, we was all playing tag with each other. So we did 2 days at Revelation, and then I think Sunday we kind of just chilled. No, we went to Thunder Alley Sunday. So we went to Thunder Alley Sunday. Ooh, beautiful track. Loved it up there. And then Monday was kind of a chill out day and getting ready for setup day. Tuesday, I think Ronnefalk and those guys went out and broke in their truggies that they just finished building. They had the TLR trucks. Ronnefalk's dad built it. And then they put the final
I got
touch.
Food poisoning.
Yeah, that's what it was. You apparently got food poisoning.
No,
6
I
hours.
didn't apparently get. I got food poisoning.
Yeah, so you sat in your truck for 3 hours.
I was out that day. I was out.
Yeah, you was out, but you did come around later on. So DNC starts. We set up everything Tuesday. You could feel the vibe. We knew it was gonna rain on the Wednesday. The rain, there was a miserable Wednesday, dude. It was cold, but it was fun. It was exciting to be there. I'm glad we got the rain and all that shit over and done with the first day. You know what I mean? The first day, it's the one day that we could have got away with it. Okay, it was bad for not people not having practice, but I think it was, yeah. We was at DNC, everybody was happy, it seemed like, and then it was just on. So when did it what about you? How did your DNC go for you? You didn't get much practice. You got to your qualifying. It was just definitely a different, for me, myself. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, it's so typical. The weather was so awesome leading up to the race, and then a few days before and the first day was just rainy and cold and shitty. It's just typical. But for me, what I was going to say, you asked how my DNC was. Like, personally, DNC is not a race I'll ever do well at because it's so difficult. You don't get a lot of track time. Each time you hit the track, it's completely different. There's no warm-up. Like, you put your car down, cross the loop. The next time you cross the loop, you're on the clock. It's fucking impossible. Like, for me,
Yeah, but it should, not just for you, but for many pro top
a lot
drivers.
of people, like, a lot of good drivers down in, like, B, C mains, probably even D mains,
Yeah.
Like, it's a really difficult race. Like, the truly talented drivers shine at a race like this because they can adapt so quick. Like, if I want to do relatively well at some race, it has to be a race where there are practice rounds, track is consistent. Each time I learn the track, improve my driving, improve my setup. Like, it's a iteration kind of step by step improving,
Well,
also this DNC is like throwing darts blind at a moving target. Like, that's what it feels like. Well, no idea what's going to happen this time. And then you just go.
I wanted to talk about it a little bit. It was different going in this year for me. I said this on previous podcasts. I kind of was not, obviously I'm still affiliated with Mayako and these guys and JQSM, but not officially affiliated. So I was kind of observing. I said it like this. I had all the benefits of a team manager, but not the responsibilities of it, which was great. I really enjoyed that. I got to observe a lot. We had our little tiff when you've got to have your own space. You've got to have your own space. Get my own space. Oh, we're gonna put Smoker on there and put this person on there. I'm like, Joseph, I need to have my own space. We got that cleared up. I kind of won half that battle. I had Baby J, Chris Morale, and Dylan and all that guys all weekend. We had a blast. But I think going into this race, it was different because, the previous 2 races, you was probably the best driver going in. We kind of didn't expect much from you. But going into this race with David Ronafalk and Zankatine, who I think you did better than him, actually. So going into this race, who I must admit, the Machete is fucking incredibly fast. Like, don't let his results at DNC dictate the amount of pace that Zankatine actually has.
Il Machete, Alex Zankatine, he's work in progress, okay? We saw a glimmer of his potential at Revelation. Arguably, he would have won that race. David had a clutch issue, non-Mayako part. He was running a plastic HP shoe. Slight issue there. So he had that clutch issue in the race. Mm-hmm. I think Alex would have won. He was the fastest, but Alex being Alex, he fucking blew something off the car. Actually missed the start, came back, blew something else off the car. So, yeah, there was that. And I think for DNC, the issue I can see with Alex is that he's really good as a driver. But in the pits, making decisions what to change on the car, that's where we need to work a bit. Okay? So I know there's a lot more potential than this. I shouldn't beat him. That is unacceptable. I think I beat him in e-buggy, fair and square, and in Nitro I was ahead of him when I broke. So that is not acceptable. But no stress, no pressure. I know how good he is. And I know that we can get those performances out of him. We just need to work on a few key areas with him. Let's put it that way. And that was the whole idea. That was the whole deal with signing him. This is not an overnight success story. Mm-hmm. This is a year-long process of massaging and maneuvering and
molding him into the racer that he can
molding. Yes. Exactly.
We're just kind of like I am molding you into being the Alden Baker of RC, or something similar in that sense. I'm the puppet master, really and truly.
Okay, you actually control the strings. So.
You just don't know it. I'm actually controlling you like a puppet. So qualifying was up and down. You know what I mean? So we go into qualifying her. Obviously, Ronafalk, I think TQs are on in each one of his qualifying. Ends up finishing 666, 666 name, Mark of the Beast and all that stuff. I have to say, personally, I fucking did not think he was gonna make the A-buggy final. And he had 2 really bad qualifying, but that TQ helped him, saved him. But not only that, but the bad results from other racers, people's qualifying results being so scattered among that
but also,
helped him a lot.
In Nitro Buggy, he was like there were 3 drivers within a second going for TQ of the round on the last lap of the first qualifying round.
And that he made that mistake.
And then he crashed in that triple. I hated how he would try to land that triple so perfect.
And he got stuck and he got a long Marshall there.
Yeah, rear wheels always hitting the landing. I'm like, every time, just jump a bit further, will you? So anyway, last lap he crashed there, then crashed again. So, okay, well, he's out. He'll get a 5th or whatever. But then his transponder didn't count that lap. So he lost that lap. Eventually, they actually gave him a lap. Then they sort of calculated off video how much he lost. And he got some kind of lap given to him. And it ended up, what was it, like a 17th or something?
Yeah, I think he got 17th for that round.
Or something like that. So, I mean, it could have been a lot different. It's really small margins in this race,
Yeah, but I have to say this, dude. In qualifying, for me, the most surprising person ended up being Mr. Consistent, dude. Above average Joe now. Above average Joe.
Yeah, above average Joe. So we had to, unfortunately, admit to that during our previous recording.
Yeah. So if you missed that, go to episode number 173, where JQ talks about him fist bumping Joe Bornhorst, becoming
There was a
somewhat
lot
friends.
of mending.
Yeah, but you're going to ruin all of
this
that.
event.
You're going to ruin all of that at some point. Because
I'm sure people are thin-skinned.
So you and Bornhorst kind of made up. I made up with Bornhorst. I got to interview him. I will say this about Bornhorst. He looks excited and happy to be at S-Works right now, and he had a good weekend. He didn't win anything, but a second and a TQ. And I think really and truly at that race, if he was probably the only one that had anything from Mayfield in the Nitro Main, because he was the one, they kind of broke away. But great result for him. Kind of like, hey, Techno, drop me. I'm now at this team. I got some balls. Like, I can be me, I guess. And he had a lot to prove. I think he needed
balls, to be honest.
Yeah, he had a lot to prove. And I think he did that at this race.
You remember we were saying, like, we aren't sure who is the top S-Works driver in America? Well, I think there's no question at this point. Yeah.
Yeah, the great thing is about this is now that, well, kind of not. The good thing about this is, remember the video about Bornhorst saying he'll never do RCGP? I was trying to find it. He did it on
yeah, we'll get into that.
Okay, we'll get into that.
Because we have the whole RCGP thing.
Oh, yeah, right. So most impressive for me, got to talk to him. He seemed very relaxed. It was a great vibe going over there in S-Works. Tebow was second. Tebow was looking really strong in Nitro Buggy at one point. Like, I was expecting him to really kind of be more in the hunt in the final. And then Ryan Mayfield just in a kind of a third there, no TQs. He got a second, and it was just kind of quiet. Ryan Mayfield. And then Ongaro, another quiet qualifying. He had a 6, a 15, and a 7. So quietly in fourth. And then Ryan Lutz, impressive. I think Ryan Lutz was impressive, except for the last round, which he finished 34th. But a 5 and a 9 going into this. And as I said, the other people that impressed me about making this main was Jackson Brunson in 8th, CJ Jalen in 9th, Dakota Fenn all the way down in 11th. And I got to give Frankie Contreras some credit for that first good run in buggy in the first round that cemented his 12th place start in the A main. Yeah, good starting position for Frankie Contreras. I think he was probably one of the biggest surprises after sweeping intermediate last year and then coming to do this. For me, that's a success story, making the main. Let's see. I'd be interested to follow this young man's career. He's only 14, 15, I think. Got to meet him and his dad. What was probably, real quick, out of qualifying, what was probably one of the most surprising things for you, good and bad?
I mean, honestly, I wasn't really paying attention to anyone else except
just focus on Runafalk and his bell.
Guys. Yeah. So yeah, probably Frankie and his runs, or that, especially that one run. That was.
But was you surprised to see?
Otherwise, I wasn't. I mean, I was kind of surprised of some drivers doing so badly, like the Europeans.
Cavalieri, like, Don in his C main.
Also, yeah, Cavalieri, Joao, Robert. Savoia was kind of where he's been in the past, also like on the bubble there. But yeah, I was surprised they did that badly.
Look at this B main: Ty Tessman, Jared Wiggins, Renault Savoia, Cole Ogden, Tyler Jones, Tanner Denny, Seth Van Dalen, Aiden Horn, Robert Badier. I think Robert was the most surprised out of the Europeans.
And I was say
very
Ty,
shocked at Robert.
Also, Ty to be second year in a row in the B main is
but he made up
surprising.
For it. He made up for it.
He did, but still, like, why? Like,
I don't know
what's going on there.
Well, Robert shocked me the most. I mean, I watched him at this race, and he put in a good lap, and I'd be like, oh, here's a good. Because I was trying to get video, so it was like I could get 2 laps, and I was hoping to get 2 good laps in, and then I go to a different driver. I couldn't get it with Robert too much. I think I only got it once. So he really struggled at this race. And what makes it different is that he never struggled at this race anymore. And I'm just seeing maybe...
I mean, he hasn't been great, I would say, at this race typically.
Oh, he came second in 2018.
Actually, yeah. But I think... Was he on the pace in qualifying already then, or was it just a main thing?
I think he made the main, I think. But he, obviously he showed pace in the latter part of that what he normally does. You know what I mean?
But the thing that gets me about, for example, Robert and Joao also is that they are good enough to back it down a bit and still do well, right? So that good lap you saw, okay, it was a good lap, but it was probably like taking a lot of risks. So sometimes I wonder that why not just back it down a bit and be consistently finish like 8th in the round, because that's all you have.
Right.
Going for like the TQ when you don't have that pace, the setup, whatever it is, I don't understand why not just take that attitude of, okay, 8th is all I can do, basically. I'm just going to do that. Maybe you squeak in a 6th place, maybe you're 12th or 8th, but at least you're like in the main, right? Or right at the top of the B. Like, why just blow out completely?
Yeah, it was so un-Robert-like. You know what I mean? It was
I wouldn't say that. Like, he is that kind of driver. Like,
oh really?
If something's wrong, then he doesn't like back it down and play it safe. Just like Joao, it's like one speed, full fucking throttle. And if it's not working, it's really not working, So you look at someone else like Mayfield, for example, now. You don't see him do that like ever, really, do you? No. Like if something's wrong, he'll
not anymore.
Back it down to the pace that he can do. So that's kind of
and something
David
else I noticed about
too,
Robert. Something else I know about Robert. I know prior to coming on her, we had heard that he was. I said this on the Spanish podcast. We knew that Robert, like Mugen, wasn't going to send him at one point. You know what I mean? And then he was like, "Yeah, I don't think Mugen's going to send me." And then he got funds to go to this race, and he wasn't like, for me, like I noticed, and he doesn't usually, but he was like, he was nowhere near the Mugen camp. Like the Mugen camp was over by us in the corner and their campers. He was over there with Nicola, if hot racing us lot. And I saw him, I just didn't see him as much as part of the Mugen team this trip. You know what I mean? And I don't know, man. I just think there's some telltale. I forgot
to verify a story I heard. So
okay.
About that. Not being such a part of the Mugen camp. I heard that there was some issues there, but damn, I forgot to verify it, so can't.
Okay, maybe. So I'm not saying that, but I think Robert's coming up. He's 34, maybe going 35 this year. He's world champion, multiple time European champion. Probably hasn't won that big race in America. I still think Robert has a lot of speed left in him and pace, but I think Robert's value is in becoming like the Adam Drake of Europe to an extent. Her eventually, because he has that following. Yeah. He has the knowledge. He has a good following. He gets the social media side of things. And I'll be honest, I just think when you got like two drivers like the Killix brothers coming up in Mugen Europe, you know what I mean? And they're coming, and they're fast, and they're gonna be faster. And we know Mugen doesn't spend a lot of money. You know what I mean? Because they have Mayfield, they have Drake's an employee. They don't really have many drivers, just only drivers. Robert is one of them. I have a feeling that we're probably not going to see Robert in a Mugen in 2023. That's my opinion. He's been with them for how long now? Quite some time.
I think that his and Mayfield's contracts are up, I think, 2023.
Really, but Robert's been with them since, he won the 2012 Worlds with them, so that's 10 years. And he was with them before
and,
that.
Who else was it? I remember that because we were originally with Mayako shooting for 2023, right? To hire a top guy. Mm-hmm. And I think David's contract was also originally ending for 2023. Yeah. So I think all those three were up at that time.
It's going to be an interesting silly season this year, I think, at the end of the year. So it's going to be interesting to see. Do I think Robert's out of the world finals in Radovan? No, by far no. I think he'll still be there. I just think he was just way off. Like out of all the Europeans, he was probably the worst. Like I hate to say it like that. You know what I mean? Which is unusual to see for Robert. And then David Ronafalk was the best European. Barufalo showed glimmers of brilliance. You know what I mean? As usual. I think Barufalo and his pace right off the bat with the techno has been impressive.
Il Machete, I don't know where he finished also, but compared to Robert.
Let's see. I'll tell you because we have final results. All right, so let's get on auto qualifying. Let's get to e-buggy day. You was having fun. We did a podcast and all that stuff. You got your first, Mayako, yourself got your first ever big win, pro win at DNC. It was emotional. I remember going up there and watching that race and just look. You was like down in the lower part of the the scoring tower. I was up there and I just remember like when you won, I was like, Joseph, and then like catching all the emotions. Oh, dude,
but
man,
you
that
can
was
ask,
a scary race.
You can ask Paul Ciccarello. Like, I think 3 laps into the race. Is it 3 laps or 3 minutes? Well, close enough. Like, very early on, I said out loud, history is going to be made tonight. Then he turns around, looks at me, and I said, just watch. Like, because I just watched how David drove, and I could tell that he was comfortable enough. You know, from watching him drive all those weeks. I figured, okay, it's over. Like, he's got this.
Yeah,
then I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake, now I jinxed him, you know?
Yeah, because Lutz came. I don't know if David slowed down, but when I saw that, all I kept thinking about was the 2019 Euros when fucking Berton just came from out of nowhere. And I was like, don't tell me this is going to happen again.
What did he say? I can't remember now. He said there was a reason.
The air was affecting. The wind was affecting me on the triple because he would jump that triple and his car would get floaty. Like you could see how his car landed. Like he was over jumping.
He made a really big change for the main. So he'd been running shorty packs the whole time, and then he put full size packs on for the main.
Yeah, and
I think he made some other change. I can't remember now. Some setup change, but it was like I was a bit worried, you know, going in. That's why I was then, after a few laps, I was like, okay, yeah. But I can't remember now. There was some reason for him not doing that well there. I think it was the tires. I think he said that he picked the wrong tire, he thought. Was it like he went too soft or something? And then he backed off and he changed how he drove and found the rhythm again, and then he could go. Like, it was an actual thing where it started off good, and then it's like, oh shit. Then he had to regroup, sort of calm down a bit, and that's when he made those couple of mistakes and dropped back a bit. But then he found his rhythm again, and then he pulled.
Yeah, then Lutz made that mistake, and it was all over.
Yeah. There was something like that happen there.
I mean, even though I'm not, you know, like, obviously I was happy, super happy. We come off there, like, you're happy. Parker is the first person we see, like, who, like, he's been with JQ since like forever. So this is big for him as well. And just the emotions going about and the people that came out and congratulated you and all that type of stuff. Even myself, when I got back to the pits, I just had to sit down. Tears were coming to my eye. It was emotional. It was good to see. It was a good feeling as well. I was happy for Lutz as well. I think, obviously I wanted Ronafalk to win, but if Lutz would have won, I don't think I would have been too angry because he deserved it too. And a good third for Cole because he needed that as well. Truggy, you know, anticipation was high. I think Ronafalk was probably the only guy that had something for him, but he broke on like lap 1, which was a shame. And to be honest, I said this, I'm not trying to recap the whole race, but I don't think that Ryan Mayfield utterly ran away with this. I thought Ty had him, was going to catch him, but after, I swear it was Barufalo, took him out on his pit in lap. And then Gord tried to throw him from Canada. It looked like from Medicine Hat, Canada. He's trying to throw his truggy from Medicine Hat, Canada to SoCal when he launched it out of pits. And he even admitted to me the next day that, I launched it too hard. And he's lucky that Ty didn't break. But Ty was the fastest guy in truggy, in my opinion. And I thought that he had something for Mayfield. And I think David would have had something too, but that unfortunate break. So kind of, like, yeah, had it been a Mayako truggy, it would have been a bomber, but it happened to be a TLR truck, and they all broke. And no offense, I don't want to get in trouble from TLR.
Hopefully, they don't send another cease and desist now.
Yeah, because Barry's upset with me off the last podcast.
We supported your company right there. Yeah. Hey, even bought a TLR truck for Il Machete from Revelation Raceway.
Yeah.
Well, actually, arguably, it could be the one Ronnie Falk built, because he started building his first. So, maybe that was the Revelation one, TLR. So, we're supporting you guys.
Yeah. Barry's a little upset at the last podcast. He's really mad at Max and
on that note, when I first met Barry, he walked up and said, he walked up and said a lot of rude words, basically, that I won't repeat. A lot of descriptions that were very rude of someone, and basically expressed his displeasure with Max.
Oh, he does not like Max.
I had to explain to him that Max is not me, and Max is not my son. So,
but he's very much like
Max is just Max, And I tried to find out why he was so angry at Max and why he hated Max so much. He actually said that the next time I see him, I'm going to punch him in the face. He was very angry. So I said, can I put it on YouTube? Because I think it could get good views. So can I film you punching Max in the face and put it on my YouTube channel? And he said that it was okay. So I'm actually looking forward to Max going to a race in America, or maybe the world's if Barry goes. So that will be a story to follow, definitely. So I haven't been watching the podcasts. Max must have said something
about Fend. He's been analyzing. It's all started with you guys' analyzation of Fend.
Okay. Rewind a bit. You know all the things I have said about TLR and Fend and inventing the word fending, which is now in the vocabulary of RC races. People talk about fending when it's completely unrelated to Dakota Fend. You can now fend yourself. You can get fended. You can fend yourself. It's a verb to fend, just like Mayfielding, another word that I created, right? So I did that, and Barry doesn't hate me, right?
I think he discovered it with Max, though.
What the hell has Max said?
I've
received a cease and desist letter from Horizon Hobby for causing irreparable damage to their brand. Okay? I invented the word fending, and Barry doesn't hate me. But he's
really upset after the last podcast.
What the hell has Max said about Barry, about Fend, about TLR buggies? Like, what has he done to piss Barry off so much that Barry's going to punch him in the face?
I don't know, but I think Barry might punch me the next time he sees me too. I hope not. I didn't say these things. Nothing. I think, I don't think we said anything bad. Tony kind of said, like, TLR is missing that Richard Saxon type of person, and like that the TLR team has shrunk considerably, which it has.
He's supposed to be the Richard Saxton kind of person, right?
Right, but I think he just and he kind of said that he doesn't think that Barry's background is strictly nitro. I think Barry and Dakota are doing I think Dakota saved TLR's ass, but I would say that TLR and AE both had non-memorable ENCs.
Barry's
four from Dakota.
You know what Barry's background is? Getting mad, having tantrums, and finishing second at World Championships.
I want to reiterate that these words did not come out of my mouth, Barry Baker. That they came out of JQ's mouth.
Barry's cool.
I think he actually listens. While he's listening to the podcast, he would be messaging me.
Okay, I'm gonna give Barry props. I'm gonna give Barry a bit of props. You know what? Barry Baker has actually managed to make Fend finish nitro buggy races.
That's true. This is true.
He even won AMS. Like, he actually
and
did
Southern
the
Nationals.
Race. He finished the race and won.
He won Southern Nationals too.
Now that is a feat. That is amazing. So you have to give Barry a bit of props too.
Well, I do think that the fourth place that we're going to talk about Nitro Buggy. Let's talk about Nitro Buggy real quick. So Nitro Buggy happens.
Hey, wait a minute. He even finished DNC.
Fourth, a much.
Exactly.
He saved TLR's behind with that fourth, in my opinion. Let's talk about Nitro Buggy. Lots of hopes, on this podcast. Nitro is the glory. We'll talk about Nitro Buggy, finish up on DNC and our trip, and then we'll go into some RCGP news, and then that's it. We've been going for 2 hours now. Nitro Buggy is the glory. Obviously, that's the big enchilada. That's the grand prize. That's what everybody wants to win. I'm sorry for Truggy guys and E-Buggy guys that that feel like we leave them out, but it's the truth. That's what everybody comes there for. Nitro is the glory on the West Coast. Did you see? It was like double Nitro entries to all the electric classes, which is a big difference from the Southeast at Dave's races, where you would have equal or maybe more E-Buggies than Nitro Buggies. So the West Coast loves Nitro. Going into this, I think Cole Ogden and Ty Tessman were your bumps. So they were taking 14 and 2 bump. I don't think either of them should have been in the B main, but I think it helped them both. I think it definitely helped Ty. So at the start of this race, dude, I was nervous, but not so nervous. But after I saw like Runafall getting shuffling all the way like to last, I was like, oh shit, what the fuck's going on here? And then I was just like, well, it looks like Mayfield and Joe Bornhorst are going to run away with it. And again, like Mayfield got out front and just made very little mistakes. And Joe got behind him. And then them two broke out. And at one point, like, Bornhorst was going to lap Runafalk, I think. And then he fought back to get that back, and he got up with... Yeah, he did. So he unlapped himself, got back up with that gaggle, because it was a serious... Like, the race really... Yes, watching Mayfield and Bornhorst go out there and do that thing was great, but the race was actually from 3rd to 6th. So you had, like, Mason Fuller was up there in 3rd at one point. You know what I mean? And then it was him, Tessman, Fend, and Runafalk battling out for that position. And those guys went at it for like 35 minutes, I think.
Yeah.
They raced to the very end.
For David, it was sort of unfortunate. So I would say that it was sort of a combination of 3 different things. Mm-hmm. One was that he had the wrong line choices in the beginning of the race. Mm-hmm. And he even said like he was using the same lines he used in E-Buggy, but this was the next day and the track was different. So that was a bit of a mistake on his part, that he stuck to the same line and actually crashed twice on the same bump. Even Degani was going out there on the track.
Yeah,
like,
I saw that.
Showing
Degani was
him
getting
like,
it all into it.
Like,
I was like, this was like the Worlds for Greg. Bump. He was serious.
Yeah. So there was that, like, unfortunate line choices in the beginning of the race. Okay?
Yeah, he crashed at that same spot over and over.
And being mid-pack and in the craziness, and not sort of having the calmness of mind to acknowledge that, like, oh shit, I need to change my lines, okay? Which then comes down to the second point, which also Adrian said, is just lack of racing, because level. It's been a while to... any kind of racing, but especially on that level. Mm-hmm. And when you haven't done that, you get a bit excited, nervous, excited. There's just that sort of race routine is missing at that level. So that's the second thing. And then the third thing, I would say that he did make some big changes for the main on setup. So the car was also different. So he had to adapt to the car. So he had to adapt to the track in a race situation, mid-pack, adapting to the car at the same time. And that was a bit too much to ask. And also, I think that the car setup wasn't the best it could have been. Like, it wasn't good enough. I think it was too hard for him to drive at that point. Like, there were some things that should have been different, like maybe more rear toe in, for example, so it's not quite so oversteery, loose, just small things like that. It was still obviously good. His top 15 laps were faster than Mayfield's, for example. Like, his speed was good, but it just contributed to those first 5 minutes being a disaster. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, that's...
I think he
That's
saved
racing.
what could have been a really bad performance into a decent performance. For me personally, top 5 is good. Obviously, he wants to win. Or I think at one
Yeah.
point he could have had a top 3. He could have been
Yeah,
third.
to be honest, I almost sort of gave up at one point because I looked at, like, he got up to 6th, and I thought, okay, that's pretty good. Like, it's not a complete disaster, like saving face a bit. And I looked, and it was like over 20 seconds to Tessman, I think, was 5th at that point. And I kind of gave up, like, that's not going to happen. Like, oh well. And I actually walked around the track just to watch the cars in different sections. And then I checked, like, he's ahead of Tessman. Like, did Tessman lap him? And I'm like, holy shit, like, he caught up. So now he was actually battling them at that point. So, yeah, and Degani actually said the same thing, that he actually gave up too. Like, after the thing that really screwed David was he jumped into that berm before the triple, but he crashed into that berm. And then, the marshal couldn't go there. He was mid-pack at this point, like 6, 7, something like that. Then he just dropped to the very back of the pack, dead last, with a over 50-second lap, I think it was. So,
And then he kept crashing over on that corner on the left side after the front section.
That was before that. This was like the nail in the coffin.
Oh,
After this, he was alone and last, and then he, like, figured out his lines and
right.
started.
I think, that was a great battle between those guys. I think Fenn saved TLR's ass with that 4th. I talked to him afterwards. He was a little bit upset. He said it was really aggressive out there, like the driving. I think Ty Tessman comes out of there smiling, B-main. You know what I mean? I felt kind of bad because I went up to interview them on the Sunday, and I was like, hey, have you guys got A-main practice? Are you going up for practice? And I forgot. And I was like, oh yeah, we didn't make practice. I was like, oh, that's right, you're in the B-main. Like, I forgot subconsciously. I said, hey, I apologize. He goes, no, it's fine. We're in the B-main. I think that extra 25 minutes helped them out a lot. They got their program together. And I think, yeah, like, 3rd place for Ty is good as a win in that situation. Mayfield, what can I say? The guy got out front, made very little mistakes, and done what Mayfield's done many times over for the last 2 years. And yeah, like, Mason Fuller all up in that battle with those guys. Impressive. Super impressive. He ended up finishing, let's see. So your top 5 was Ryan Mayfield, Bornhorst, Tessman, Fenn, Ronafalk, Mason Fuller, 6th, Jarrett Tebow, 7th. He'd be upset with that 7th. I think he would want more, a win. Jackson Brunson, 8th. Dude, I think that's great for Jackson. You know what I mean? Like, first real big race on his HB car. He said he's loving his car. Davide, Don in 9th. Somewhat. CJ Jalen, 10th. Ryan Pavidis, great result for him, 11th. Cole Ogden, 12th. Schmeh. Max said it right. Max said it on the podcast, and this is no disrespect to Cole. He goes, when it comes to Cole Ogden, you could tell me he's in the C main starting last and bumped up to the A main and won. Or you can say his TQ and broke on the first lap. With Cole, it could be either one of those things and anything in between. And then Spencer Rifkin, man, lackluster 14th. He would be upset with that. And Barufalo, 15th, didn't really show what the pace that he had this weekend.
I mean, he was faster. I don't know. He would have been in that battle, like, possibly 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th.
I think so.
He could have been there.
I think so. And then Frankie Contreras in 16th, your last place finisher in that main. And I just wanted to reiterate because we was wondering who finished. Where Stefan Dalen was 17th, Spencer Hackett 18th. Robert Batty actually managed a 19th place. Had this been a Worlds and ladder style, I think we would have seen Robert in the main. With that type of, he obviously did better in the mains. Tanner Denny would better than 20th. Renault Savoya 21th. Tyler Jones, I think one of the biggest losers in this weekend in buggy, 21st. He doesn't want to beat. And Aiden Horn, 23rd. 22nd for Tyler Jones. And then obviously Cavallari Don at 26th. So let's see where you. So Adam Drake finished 31st, and Alex Zankatine.
I would have been 30th then. I would have been 31st then.
Alex Zankatine actually finished 35th. Y'all 32nd. And then you finished 44th. So
Yeah, I broke.
you were the worst placing. Sorry, Taro Kralik was the worst placing European. He finished last.
Goddamn Taro.
Yeah. What's your thoughts? Surprises? Just wrapping up. Nitro Buggy Main. Any surprises for you there? Any good surprises? Any bad surprises? Or was you just too focused on Runner Falk?
I don't know. I mean, not really any surprises as such, I would say.
Okay.
Can't think of a surprise.
All right. So that we went home early. That was the night that we actually wasn't early, but was the night that we actually all went together to Denny's and had food for the first time, all of us together on this trip. So that was nice. We had a blast, and then everybody went there. Like it's just like everything, you get there and this tent city pops up and everybody's there. And then like when you leave Sunday evening, everybody's gone. And then it was even sadder when we went there Monday and like, it was just us there, and it was still people. It was a couple people there, but for me, all in all, I had a great time. I really enjoyed this race as an observer. I got to watch a lot of racing. Do I think 980 something entries is too much? Yes. I have to correct something too, because we got caught up on the last podcast with Tony, and he kind of made the mistake of calling entries people, and he kind of was like, well, it's probably like 3,000 people there. While I think there was, he kind of made a mistake. Yeah, he made that mistake, and
I didn't fix him, right?
I know. I didn't correct him on the podcast, but I will correct him now. I will say this: there were 380 drivers there, but I think there might have been, on a daily basis, 800 to 1,000 people there, like with friends, family, and all that type of stuff.
At the track?
Yes. I think there was
There's
about...
No way.
Yes, Joseph. There was about 800 people there. Yeah, it was. On a daily basis. I will tell you that Saturday and Sunday with spectators, people walking in, there had to be about 2,500 people there at one point. On Saturday and Sunday.
No way.
Just not all day.
2,500 people? No.
Just coming into, there were a lot of people walking around and just coming for the experience of DNC Saturday and Sunday. Like, I'm just talking about with racers and families and people coming to see this for the first. There was a lot of people walking around, milling around. That's where you got a lot of love.
There wasn't more than 1,000 people there.
Really? I think there was more than 1,000 people there. I do. I think definitely on Saturday, but definitely wasn't. I know we made that mistake. 980 entries, Joseph. That's a lot of entries. Now we know PNB is going to go for 1,000 or more. At what point? I guess it doesn't matter no more. We kind of said it like this. DNC is a festival and an RC car race breaks out at it. That's the best way you can look at it, because the ambience of the race was good. Like, people were there enjoying themselves. It was partying. You let loose Saturday night. You had a few drinks and stuff like that. You got to hang out a little bit. We didn't. We went home. I think it was a great positive DNC for you, for Mayako, for the podcast, for everybody involved. Obviously, some people went home happier than others. Yeah, it was a good return to racing, I think. It was just good to see everybody together racing again, in my opinion. How about you?
Yeah, I would say so.
So, to wrap up our California trip, we spent the next 3 days. We cleaned up packed all that shit in the van. Dude, there's so much stuff we had to take out of that house. Boxes and boxes of tires. Like, I just couldn't believe it. We got all of that out. Wednesday, we did some tourist stuff. I headed home. I got back Thursday. You got back home Saturday. And now we're here. It's a good time. I had fun with you, Joseph. I know you had a good time, too. It was probably one of the best DNCs we've been to in a while. Definitely better than 2020, in my opinion. So,
yeah, I would agree.
All right. So real quick, we've been going for a long time, and Joseph's attention span is waning. Joseph, RCGP news. You've been dropped, or self-inflicted drop from RCGP. What's funny about this is, like, no matter what, it's always going to be like, it's like people, this is so not right, and this and blah, blah, blah. Here's the guy who made this. And I'm like, hold on. JQ involved in RCGP, people hate it. JQ not involved in RCGP, people piss and moan. What is it, people? Self-inflicted drop by you. Actually, I shouldn't say self-inflicted. I give myself, I can't reach my back, so I'll pat my left shoulder. I give myself a pat in the back. Yeah, like I really think this is the best role for you going into RCGP. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about some RCGP because this is coming up next. First, we have the Nationals coming up next weekend, which will be a big race. But then we have the RCGP race where I'll get to see you again. And this time you won't be racing.
This isn't what people are going to care about because the news that's coming out is going to be what people are going to care about. So just quickly, yeah, I'm not racing because we have some young up-and-coming talent on the Invisible Speed JQSM Mayako team.
Can we get a / NNRC in there too?
No, you don't
Fuck.
pay enough.
No
I
love.
pay you. What the fuck?
Yeah, but you
Should
got to
be
show
the
the
other way
NNRC. So you know what?
So
Hold on, real quick. I have
Yeah.
I have a pet peeve to pick with you. We need to get NNRC on these sponsor lists. It felt so bad. I didn't even get a
That's
nitrous
up
to
to
glory.
you. That's up to you. So, what was I saying? Yeah, so there's the Mayako factory team, and then there's another team also running Mayako, and that other team is for the future,
Well, yeah.
the youth, the future champions.
Which it was supposed to be.
Which I don't know if RCGP have announced them at this point, actually, but 2 young stars are going to be running Mayako buggies in RCGP at the first round.
Actually, it
in
might
America.
be 3. It might be 3, but they'll be running a different brand. The third person might be running a different brand. But we'll have 3. Well, we might have 3 potential young stars that did well in RC2 racing in RCGP coming up very soon.
Yeah, but that's different. We aren't talking about that team right now. So anyway, so that's it. I mean, I'll be there. I'll be.
What would be your role? What would be your role?
I'll be a mechanic and team manager.
I actually think you're going to be the biggest pain in the ass to everybody involved at this race.
Yes, probably, but it's required. There are some people that need to be slapped around a bit.
Oh, see what I mean? I see it already coming.
Skill level is far outweighing or surpassing their mechanical ability to put cars together, maintain them, set them up.
I wasn't even talking about that. I wasn't
all of
talking
that
about
stuff.
that.
Like,
I was talking about the RCGP staff.
Well, that too. But I'm now talking about my mission here with JQSM. So
okay,
certain people need to be slapped around a bit so that they perform to that level that they are expected to perform. Right? So that's going to be my task. Yeah, that's going to be my task there. And of course, if the RCGP staff have been sleeping for the last 3 years, or what is it, 2 years, I'll slap them around a bit too.
You know what? I see Mal DQing you from this race. He's not manager.
He cannot, because he is now affiliated with Mayako. He's not a referee anymore. So he will actually be there, but he's kind of a middleman between teams and race.
Can I give you a pre-DQ there? Can I be the referee and DQ you now?
Actually, I don't even know who the referee is.
Well, we hope it's
But I know that it's not Mao. That's for sure.
Yeah, interesting. But that's coming up very soon.
That.
What's this big announcement?
So the big news that RCGP released is that the races will be covered but not shown to people.
Oh, right. I forgot about this.
Yeah, because it's pay-per-view, just like UFC or any other freaking sport these days. So I could expect a lot of negativity around this because
this is going to hit. The shit is going to hit the fan with this. That's for sure.
There's going to be some negativity. So I figured let's just address this right here, right now, so that we get the story straight. Right? So pay-per-view, what the hell? What is this all about? Why do you have to pay to watch RCGP? Well, here's the deal. Every functioning sport in the world, pretty much at this point, that has good coverage, has some sort of pay-per-view system. be it UFC, Formula 1, MotoGP, motocross,
Supercross.
supercross, everything. Why? Because there has to be a way to generate income to be able to run the series. What RCGP is trying to do is go next level when it comes to track presentation, race environment and presentation, the race experience for the people racing, the coverage, the quality and amount of content, the entire circus that is RCGP, right? The goal is to go next level with it. Why? Because we want to create more seriously, like more sort of professional, interesting event that can be taken seriously by others than insane people who just naturally like RC racing, right? We want people to look at what we do and think, wow, that's cool. That's something I would like to do, or I would like my kid to do. You know, we need that in this world right now. We need to be competitive. We need to get more people in the hobby. We need to inspire people who are already bashing with RC cars to want to race. So we need to professionalize. We need to improve. That's what RCGP is trying to do right now. To be able to do that, you need money, right? Because it costs money to fly everyone in and do the media production and all the promotion, all of that stuff. Now, why do it this way? Look at the other races right now in RC. How do they do it?
By entries.
We just had a race that had 980 entries. That means like there's about $100,000 in income. The entries plus some sponsors. I think that Joey probably net profit pocketed about $100,000. If we're gonna be really generous, let's say 80. If he didn't make $80,000 in his pocket from that race, then he needs to go to business school or something, because putting that race on, him building the track, permanent facility, rent, probably peanuts.
Now this year he
not
made
having to pay for live RC, not paying for any media, not flying in anyone. There is no way that race costs.
So who pays for the media for live RC? The manufacturers?
No, I think live RC just show up because it's DNC, like they want to do it. And they have their other sponsors, I guess, maybe. So that race is not expensive to put on, and the income is like, I don't know, $120,000 maybe. So, okay, you have that money, and that's fine. It's okay to put on a race and make money. That's fine.
No, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. But that's one race. That's one way of doing it. There are other races with similar business models. Maximize the entries. Well, for an individual racer, that is not great value. You cannot go to that race, pay for one class, pay $100, race one class, and claim to enjoy yourself if what you enjoy is racing RC cars, because the track time is so limited. Practice day, you run one time, 7 minutes or something. That's not a great experience, is it? If you're a racer. Qualifying day. Did you get three? Three qualifiers.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
Track time is limited. That's one way.
All right, so two different business models. One, as many entries as you can.
Yeah, RCGP is not doing that. The idea is limited entries, so you can't make the money from entries. Yet you still have to put on this race. And also, you are flying in media staff. You are creating the content. You are creating the coverage. You are investing in.
It's costing money. It's costing a lot of money.
Creating something more than just your average race, right? So you have to you have to generate income somehow. Okay, so you do the same thing as all of these other sports are doing. You have a TV package. In this case, it's via House of RC, because that's something else that's growing and helping to unite RC racing. House of RC offers a media package. With the media package, you can pay monthly, or you get a discount if you pay one-time payment for the whole year. I think it was $100. So you pay $100, you get all that content live.
Okay. So
this content is not only going to be RCGP races. If this concept works, the idea is to cover more races. So races that are not currently covered will have this same level of coverage. Or, well, it can't be exactly the same because RCGP doesn't control the race event. So same staff goes to an event, covers it. It's not RCGP now, but the same people are doing the coverage, so it will be of a high level. Like, I'm talking like World's warm-up, for example. No coverage right now. Okay, well, if enough
works,
people
you can have it.
subscribe, if it works, well, then you can have it. Euros warm-up, same thing. Even some American races that don't have coverage right now, or maybe just have a static camera right now, this way, it could be done. So it really is up to us as individuals who go to these races, who enjoy RC, who would like to see a change. Now we have the power to actually make a change. We often feel like, well, I'm just one person. What the hell can I do? Now we have created something where each one of us who feels like we would like things to change, we can contribute to it. If we all subscribe with $100 for 1 year, how many people on the Discord? 400 people on the NNRC Discord, right? Jesus Christ, that's a good start already, right there. How many people bought my book? There must be some overlap there. Maybe 1,000 more people there. A couple of hundred people are Mayako members. Like there's a couple of hundred in the online course. Like there's some overlap, of course, but there are already a few thousand people who get it, who are into this, who listen to the podcast, who buy the Invisible Speed book. They get the course. They are Mayako members. They are on the NNRC Discord. Like even us that enjoy this thing, we are kind of the inner circle of the
I'll be paying
niche
for this
group. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna buy it too.
Okay, I'm not
even
if
too. If all of us think like, you know what, let's just fucking do this and see how far we can go. That's already enough. You know, this is really that kind of situation. Yes, there are going to be haters. Yes.
Oh, I can hear it now.
Complain.
People pissing, man, about the $5 to live RC, which I know. Gladly.
But I'm telling you, this is a plan that is not about lining anyone's pockets or getting rich. This literally is a plan to improve RC racing. Take our industry somewhere it hasn't been before. That is the goal. David Isherwood, who started RCGP, spent money to create RCGP in the first year. COVID caused a setback, 2 years of no RCGP. Going into this year again, it was very close that he wouldn't do it because he again has to spend money to do it. But, well, all of us who were involved in the first year, we talked about it. This idea of the pay-per-view, if it works, it has potential, you know. The series is full. We have 7 teams in RCGP. RC2 class is full. There's a cap, but it's full also. There's enough interest about the series. People want it to come back. This can really work, but it's up to us if we choose to spend that money to support this idea. It's not too much money for RC races. It's like 1 day at the track for a club race, you spend that money already. Just 1 day. Club race, entry fee, a set of tires, some fuel. Like you already spend more than that. You know, you go out to eat with your family, you spend that or more than that.
So, quick question, Joseph.
It's not a lot of money. It's more of a mindset thing. Like, do you want to support this or not? That's the question.
I agree with you there. I mean, I you told me about this when I was out in California, so I know all about it. But how do we convince, like, these are the same people. Like, I remember when Live RC was like, hey, look, for me, I like when All RC, so the All Access Pass, I would buy it because I wanted to see the race. You know what I mean? I don't mind. It was like $35 or something like that to watch the entire race when they did that. And people pissed them in about it. Or Live RC said, if we got enough sponsors, we would air it for free, which they did. They honored that. People are complaining about, I think the $5 I spend for Live RC is probably one of the best $5 I spend a month. I could go check any race that I want and all that type of stuff. But I understand that little bit of money that I pay towards them helps them go to another race, because why? I want to see these races, because unfortunately, I don't live in America and I can't get to all these races. And we just complained about how we thought the coverage of Montpellier was not very good, and how we were disappointed with the coverage of the races coming out of Europe. So if this helps, if my $100 not only gives me the opportunity, well, I'll probably be at RCGP, but if this gives me the opportunity to see the Worlds warm up and Euros warm up and maybe a race like AMS or something like that, with Control and the same guys that do RCGP and that quality, of course I'm going to pay it. And I think that's what people have to understand.
Also, if those other races get better coverage, more of the top drivers would probably show up, because then, I mean, even for Monaco, I know, like, some of the American races, they would be nice to do, but there's no coverage, so where's the benefit? It's like, that's something that's so backwards when, for example, talking with some of the American teams about joining RCGP, it's like, well, when we go to this race, there's so many entries and so many people there, so we reach them, and it's like, but it's still like 200 people in a barn somewhere, when it could be a global audience plus the 100 people in a barn somewhere. Like, the disconnect is just,
I get that.
striking,
I've heard that before too. So I'm a Joe Blow sportsman racer, right? Why should I give you $100? Why should I give RCGP $100 to watch this race? Because I think, and then they'll say, well, I could watch it on Live RC for free, or this, or this, or that. Why should I give you $100?
You see, the difficulty there is that there's not a direct benefit, like immediate benefit for everyone. Some people, there will be, because their local race or the race they are going to gets better coverage and gets more top drivers there. But that's like a minority of people. If you look bigger picture, what we are talking about is, in RC in general, we see a lot of hobby shops closing. We see a lot of tracks closing. It's not something that is impossible to imagine that RC could die for you. If in your area, your hobby shop closes and they run the track and the track closes, and the closest track is 6 hours away, well, RC is dead for you. That has happened for
many people.
Slot car racing, for example.
It's happened
which
for me
used
here.
to be a big thing. It happened for you in RC. You don't have a track anymore. Like, it's a reality, right? I just think that if we can improve what we do, so if we can have this glamorous World Series, best drivers, best tracks, best coverage, it's something to look up to. It's something that inspires people to race. It's something that pushes the race formats and improving them and making racing more fun, and how to make that experience of going to a race more exciting and more fun for the participant. It can be something like that. Not only that, also expanding the coverage to other races, so we have more of the races in the world with good coverage. I think it's a net positive for the industry. We can help to push every race forward, even if it's not covered by this group, because there will be more people excited about going racing globally. That's what we want. And that's what we can achieve only if enough people come together and decide to support. Maybe it's not $100 for the whole year. Maybe you just support for $30 for 2 months, every little bit helps if enough people support. It's like crowdfunding. Instead of 7 companies paying a lot of money and really have to think that, can we really afford this? Is it really worth it? Now everyone can. If every single person that heard this message subscribed for 1 month, it would be a lot of money. I guarantee it. And here's the thing that we didn't mention. The races will be available for free also, just not live. So this is for the people who, like me, I'm a fan of Supercross. I don't want to wait to watch the race. I want to watch it live. Because if I, by mistake, go on Instagram or Facebook, I see the results. Or if my friend just talks about it, I hear the results. Then I'm pissed off. Like, I want to watch the race without knowing what happens. So I watch it live or the next day. That's what this media package gets you. So you subscribe, you get to watch it live, or you watch the replay immediately after. If you don't want to spend any money, you can still see the racing, but it's going to be delayed. Maybe a month, maybe 6 weeks. But it's going to be available at some point, free online.
So, question, when can people, obviously we're recording this as this is going to be announced, but how can people do this? How can people sign up?
I mean, I would assume it's in the announcement. Honestly, I don't know. I know that it's through House of RC. So it's like a subscription plan on House of RC. So it's one of the levels that you can. House of RC is free, but if you subscribe, you get like extra features. So I guess one of the levels is, okay, you get a media package. And then whatever races that media crew goes to cover, you get to watch that. And it's not just racing. There's also other content, like some monthly show they are doing and other stuff. So yeah, I'm sure there'll be some videos explaining all of that.
Sweet. Well, I know that the proverbial shit will hit the fan when this comes out because I know RC people. But I think if they sit down, relax, and really think about it, they'll see why this has to happen and what benefit it has for us in general. So, like, I would love to see the Worlds warm up. You know, I'm not going to be there, so I'd love to watch it. And at a quality, like a decent quality, not some guy standing in the corner before on camera.
Yeah, I mean, especially if all the Americans go to the World's warm-up, it's going to be a really good race, you know? And it would be a shame if there's no proper coverage from that. You know, pit walkabouts, interviews, good filming of all the mains and all that stuff. So even right there, that's a reason to sign up.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, RCGP isn't too long away. So if you want to watch it live, click that link. And you know what? We had a hashtag for this. What was it?
Hashtag GrowRC.
Hashtag GrowRC. Take a picture and tag us in that. Tag the NNRC, tag RCGP. We're going to be doing it as soon as JQ pays me $100.
I'm not. You have to sacrifice a bit.
I know. Well, I need to get some money in my PayPal.
Listen.
I know what it's all about. I'm just joking. Can you take it easy?
After you get 4 tires for your car, 4 new tires that are the same brand, same tires actually, it's like one set of tires for your car, then you get this subscription.
I'll get the subscription first. There we go.
Then screenshot that shit. Hashtag GrowRC.
The possibility of me getting the subscription first and me getting 4 tires first is that definitely the subscription is going to come first.
Okay. Do that then.
Yeah, do that. GrowRC and hashtag GrowRC. Tag RCGP, tag all of us, and let's see if we can start this movement because I want to see RCGP stay around too, and I know that it has to generate income. I have an idea of the amount of money that Isherwood has spent out and the amount of stress that it's caused them. So I think it's only fair that they do at least make money where they don't come out of pocket. You know what I mean? To do this type of stuff. Because one thing I learned after working at DNC and doing that all on my own, which I really enjoyed, that people should get paid to do that because it's a lot of work and you're giving up something that you love to do it. So that should be announced. Follow the instructions. I'll figure out how it works too. So if anybody's having an issue, I'll know. And once I know, if I can figure it out, then everybody can figure it out. So, because if Lefty can do it, then I think anybody can do it. I think it's good. I think it's good. I think the people that get it will do it, and the people that piss and moan will piss and moan even more. And then they'll be upset when they can't see the race. And they'll be like, I got to wait 4 weeks, 6 weeks. Well, not me, because I have a subscription. So more RCGP news. I don't know if it's going to be something that's happening, but I have you here, and I doubt you'll be on her when it happens. But I found it very ironic. If we go back to On the Turn from many years ago, when they had a live show of like was Mark and like Tebow and Bornhorst, and I think Lutz was there, or maybe Drake was there. I can't remember. And the subject of RCGP came up. They never seem to get this race subject right on this podcast. I wish they would put you on, or put David Isherwood on, so he can explain everything, how it works. But especially in this time, it was a lot of, mysterious stuff around it. And I remember Bornhorst saying he'll never do a RCGP as long as you're involved. Well, you're still involved, but I think we're going to get to see Bornhorst do an RCGP. And that's great.
He also said it was a scam.
Yeah, but it's great.
We have to find that clip.
I couldn't find it. And I'm not saying that to say, hey, look, like, fuck you, Bornhorst. I'm going to say that I think Bornhorst is going to get a chance to do it.
I mean,
he's going to get a chance to see how good it is, and I think he's going to like it.
Yeah, it's the same with all these guys, like Mayfield too. You remember at the Australia Worlds where he was like saying, like, do we really want to follow JQ down this road? Like, it's just a way to get him to race more. Like, it's just a way
for you to race more,
for him to get to race more or something. I can't remember. He said something like that, like making it about me, missing the fucking point completely, right? Because that's how it is. And that's also the problem with something like this pay-per-view. Like, the first gut reaction is like selfish for most people. Okay, what's in it for me? And then, okay, this other guy, it must be about what's in it for him. It's like people can't compute like, hey, let's do something together for the greater good. Like this would really help all of us. They're like, is that possible? Can we like do something that could help me, myself, and someone else? Like, is that actually, is this possible? Like, it seems like something that's a utopia. Like, no, it's real fucking life. You just decide like, hey, let's do this. It's the right thing to do. It's good. It helps everyone. Let's do this. Like, man, it's insane. I think that
I will pay the $100 just because I want to see you gloves off as a team manager, giving everybody shit. Like, you know what I mean? You did it as a driver. Now, as a team manager, you're gonna have a little bit of power, and you're gonna be like, it's gonna go right to your head. And I can see you like filing protests and all that.
I mean, I think wasn't I a team manager already when I was the driver?
Yeah, but you was also concentrating on racing. Now you have time to nitpick everything.
Right.
You be out there with your calipers. This banner's 6 millimeters off. Fix it.
I think that most people who said stuff like what Bornhorst said or Mayfield said, it's like I said earlier in this podcast, it doesn't come from a place of deep thinking. It's like initial emotional reaction kind of stuff. Yeah, and then if you actually sit down and think about the stuff, then you kind of realize that you're wrong. So I'm pretty sure Bornhorst will be there. I'm pretty sure he'll enjoy it. I'm pretty sure if Mayfield was racing for a brand that was taking part in RCGP, he would be there too. So I have never really put much weight onto those kind of comments because I know that they aren't true.
And there you go. This is the story of your life. Everybody telling you what can't be done, and you go ahead and do it. I can't wait. Be there in a couple weeks. It's going to be awesome. But first we have a nationals to go through, and then it's RCGP. But I think right now everybody's just talking about RCGP because people are excited about it. So I'm excited too. I'm excited. New different coverage. I haven't been told everything. I'll be there probably the Wednesday. I don't know what my role is exactly going to be, but
I hope the weather's good, and I also hope that the teams send enough of the drivers to all rounds. Mm-hmm. That's what I hope.
Yeah. And they send them to like the media days and all that stuff, like they're supposed to.
Oh, they'll be there.
Yeah. Oh, see,
you know
they'll
why?
Be there.
Because otherwise they won't get practice. That's how you get people to show up for media day. You make it.
Oh,
practice.
Really? Yep. Interesting. All right. Well, anything else to say about RCGP? Like I said, they'll be unveiling the tires, the teams.
Yes,
all
actually,
that
that
stuff.
was the other announcement.
We have to respect that, don't we?
Yeah, the other announcement was the control tires.
Okay.
So you can announce that now.
They're going to be TZO tires, TZO 200 tires. I don't know which one, so you're gonna have to tell me that one.
Yeah, there's a control tire. It's called control tire.
So they made this specifically for this race?
Yes. So they are the official tire supplier of the RC2 class in RCGP for the entire
for all
season.
races. Oh, okay.
That's right.
Very great partnership there with them. Will they come up with a different tire each race? No? Or will they just use what they have existing? How will that work?
I think it's going to be that same tire, just a different compound at every race.
Really? Interesting
Yes.
stuff. Big moves for TZO. They made a lot of big moves at DNC. They're making a big move with RCGP. I guess we're going to have to get Nick on her to have like an official podcast.
Nick goes big.
Does he? He went big at DNC. Yeah. All right, man. Anything you wanted to add before we close up? We've been going for almost 3 hours here. It's a long time.
Yeah, we were supposed to just have a short one today.
Never happens. Hey, man, it was good chatting to you. I look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks. And hopefully our accommodations aren't too janky. Maybe I might have to come stay with you. But like, hey, JQ, you got room on your floor? Sleep in my I don't have my air mattress because it's in the van.
I'm definitely not staying anywhere near you so I can sleep.
Hey, I know I need to lose weight, but I need some remedies for snoring, people. And don't say a sleep apnea machine. That ain't happening.
I have heard that you can just smash a pillow in your face until you stop snoring.
Well, that would be death.
I've heard it works.
Yeah, well, death and snoring. I don't know. I'd rather snore. Anyway, man, it was a good chat with you. Good catch up. I look forward to seeing you. It's going to be a good 2022. I don't know when we'll be together again, like to do a podcast. Maybe after RCGP. You know, you bless us. You grace us with your presence once a month. You know, when you become a superstar like JQ.
Maybe after.
Yeah. You only come on once a month. And
it's better that way.
It is.
So today we're recording this on Wednesday. This is coming out on Friday. Mm-hmm. Somewhere in between those RCGP announcements go up. I'm really curious to see that media package.
I know
announcement and the feedback.
I'm
really
waiting.
Curious.
I have a feeling as soon as that gets announced, my phone is going to be like.
It's like RCGP is dead.
Yep.
That's what people are going to say.
It was so funny to see people so negative about you being dropped. They don't need to do this and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, people, this is a good thing.
You know what? I didn't do that shit.
Oh, also. You did it? Oh.
No, we just sent the team to RCGP and I wasn't on it. And they posted that.
Mission accomplished, Lefty. You've done your job.
Yeah, but I'll still race.
You should still race. But can I?
I hope.
You will not race.
Let's see if we have a young European.
You will have a young European or Australian in Europe. So
we'll see.
Let's just forget that. You know.
What are you trying to do?
Kanai's results don't matter. JQ's results don't matter.
They matter to me. You
know what should matter? Learning how to play your guitar properly and getting that song down. That's what you should focus on. Then your results won't really matter. This guy had two guitars in this house. I thought they were in the house already. I was kind of wondering why this Airbnb didn't have a toaster, a coffee maker, utensils, cups, plates, any of this stuff. Not even a broom. I had a broom, but it had freaking 2 guitars sitting there that I found out that were yours. You left her.
Yep.
So we have to address you and have an intervention for you and your addiction to buying guitars.
It's not an addiction.
Yeah, it is. All right, Joseph. I think that's it for today. Thank you for your time. Your light's going dim. I know it's getting late there in I haven't said Sweden, Finland. In Finland. It was a good chat. Good catching up with you. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I am interested to see the feedback on the media package too, even though I know it's going to be negative, but I think people will get it. Some people will get it.
We'll see.
Once they listen to this, they'll get it too.
I think we have to talk about it every single podcast to explain it. Like, think of a way to explain it in like 2 minutes.
Yeah. Hashtag
And then
GrowRC.
Then just that every podcast.
Yeah. Also, I just wanted to say real quick. I know I said shout out to him earlier, but shout out to happy birthday to Salty Joe. It was his birthday this past weekend. The saltiest of salts spent it on a new track layout in Bermuda that they finally got. And he had fun. So shout out to him. Remember, NNRC Espanol is dropping on Friday as well. First episode. I don't know how I'm going to do that. I'm going to figure that out. And thank you, everybody.
You can promote the Spanish invisible speed.
I already started that. Already on top of that. Don't worry about that.
Okay.
And all right. Well, anyway, thank you and shout out to all of the NNRC squad around the world. We can't do it without you guys. Keep hitting that sub button, that like, leaving comments, dislike button. Leave reviews. We really need you to leave reviews on all the podcast apps. It helps us get out there in the stratosphere. Shout out to the patrons of the podcast. We can't do it without you guys. If you wish to become a patron of the podcast, you will get early release. So you'll know all of this information before everybody else. Right? And thank you for your support. You can do that. It's in the written link of this podcast. Shout out and thank you to all of the awesome sponsors and companies that support this podcast and the NNRC media movement. They are Invisible Speed, TDO Tires, High Tech RC, TNR Fuels, Beach RC, Techno RC, Lugs Racing Tires, Mayako, JQSM, G-Spec RC Tuning, Papa Willie's Traction Tonic, Racecraft USA, Clinic RC, JTP RC. Don't forget to fill out your House of RC profile. Looking forward to RCGP. Shout out to my boys, RC Kevin, the Viking, the Doctor, Robert Batty, all these guys. We need to get them, we need to get these guys running decals and also putting the NNRC on their sponsor lists. I felt very bad about that. I even asked the Viking. I said, I thought we was friends. But I appreciate it. He just forgot. A lot of pressure. I didn't want to disrupt him, Victory is more important than getting my Nitrous to Glory shouted out. JQ, anything to say before I sign out? You always have something to say.
Yeah. The Techno logo is bigger than the Mayako logo in the sponsors.
We actually, I'm actually waiting for Mao to do all of this. I've been waiting since the month before Christmas. So I'll talk to my design, my branding manager right across her, who was supposed to have been doing this, and came down. We can do all the branding for the podcast. It's gonna be so awesome. Yeah. I got COVID. I'm dying.
Yep.
Anyway, it was good talking to you, dude. Have a good one. And,
you have a lot of sponsors still. I'm amazed.
Yeah. Oh, these are like David Runnerfalk, RC Kevin, Hagberg. They're like friends. So I just promote them. I think we're friends.
Oh,
I think Runnerfalk and I are friends. No,
JTP, DR, AH.
Yeah, that's Alex Hagberg. David Runnerfalk. Jared, who comes on once a month. Who I need to get on. Maybe we add Batty A to this too when he starts doing the Spanish one.
Yeah, man.
All right, dude. Eminem, we gotta go. Talk to you later. Nitrous Glory, E-Buggy pays bills. Lefty, mission accomplished.
E-Buggy wins DNC, dude.
Oh, now you're all about E-Buggy. See? Look at all that. Imagine what a pro win does for JQ. He's all about E-Buggy. Anyway, Joseph, short outro. We're out. 3 hours.